we go. Hashtag Cancel Connor, episode 11. And we're going. Click.
You should get one of those.
I should. I keep thinking about getting the time setter thing, but it wouldn't matter because I'm terrible at organizing shit. Yeah.
No one actually knows what they do.
No. They write shit on it and whatever. It's got flashing lights. Anyways, Mr. Jamie Oliver. Not that Jamie Oliver, the other Jamie Oliver.
The second and only.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and start about your entire life story and that sort of direction.
Cold Notes version.
Yeah.
Well, I was born to a one-legged gypsy. Yeah. And then I was adopted by my mother and father.
Nice.
Susan and Rick. They say that I was born to them, but we all know. Too cool for this world. I was born in Kelowna. I moved from Kelowna when I was 2 or 3-ish. I didn't have much say in the matter.
Oh, okay.
To a small town called Almont, Ontario, 40 minutes west of Ottawa. That's where I did all my growing up and learning and fun stuff and the resting and mainly learning. Then at age 19, moved to Ottawa. Lived there till 2011, and then on my birthday, August 17th, 2011, I threw a party for myself at my townhouse. I invited all my friends over. All my stuff was packed, and
must have been a good day if you remember the specific date.
Well, I think my birthday is an easy one.
So, yeah.
Pissed a lot of people off that day because I didn't tell anybody I was moving out to Calgary, where we are now. And invite all my friends over, have a van or like a trailer down in the parking lot. And I said, hey, now that you're all here, everyone grab a box. And I was moved out in like 20 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we had a party in a vacant townhouse and came here, met you, put up a couple sheets of drywall together, told some stories, went out for lunch one day.
Yeah.
And that brings us to today.
Yeah, there's really no breaks in between either.
No.
It's almost like minute for minute what happens. So.
That's pretty much, yeah. No stop for commercial breaks. Yeah. I mean, there was a few things along the way. I met Tara. Moved out here with my ex-fiance. Now she's my new fiance.
For now.
Yeah. Play the cards right.
Yeah, see how this one works out. So.
Yeah. No, it's. I was actually honored to get the message from you asking if I'd do this. I thought that was a pretty cool head nod. You know.
Yeah, well, it's been some time because that's. Yeah, like you said. I mean, earlier there was. We've known about each other for 8 or so years, and
yeah, we've been in the same room multiple times.
Yeah, played par 3, I think. Yeah, I think we did that one day.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good time.
That was a good day.
Yeah, everybody got a little sloppy that day.
Well, we worked with a couple different companies together, and as well with Alan Matthews, just a beauty of a human being.
Yeah, well, that was kind of
he was the.
Well, we kind of all followed him. It was like a group of about 8 of us that kind of
right.
just jumped a handful of companies, and it's like, well, he's taking care of us, and let's just keep going. So,
yeah,
well,
never led us astray.
Yeah, and that was
like the opposite, actually.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because he was the kind of guy that would have all kinds of stories about his old heydays, sort of stuff like that. But it's like he's incredibly filled with knowledge and so concise about how a job should be run, and calmly did it. It wasn't about a pissing contest. Well, honestly, I learned some of the stuff from you just as much because of how well you could handle yourself and how you would other people would get emotional, and you'd kind of just. Okay, well, what's the actual problem here, guys?
In public.
Yeah.
I curl up in the fetal position when I get home most days. Take it out on my pillow.
Yeah.
No, I learned a lot of that from Al, actually, and one guy after high school, Nick Dyack. He was a chef at a restaurant that I worked at before I got into construction. He led the life that when I was 17, working in his kitchen, what I learned, it's what I aspired and what I thought was like the cool guy, you know. And he wasn't the best looking guy, but he always had the hottest chicks, the coolest chicks. He hung out with the coolest guys. He was the most chilled out dude. He got me into vinyl. He got me into old school hip hop. He got like there was so much that he got me into, but I learned from his ways on how he took on life, and then I kind of take in from a lot of different people what I like about them, and then just take a little shaving of that and then put that in the back pocket.
He kind of sounds like McConaughey from Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, little less creepy. Yeah, no, he was very, very cool. I owe a lot to him for who I am today, and then take a little bit of that, sprinkle in some Alan Matthews, a little bit of Connor, a little bit of everybody from along the way, and kind of here we are.
Yeah, and that's a great way to go about it, because there's a lot of people that they get set in their ways, and they're just, this is all there is, this is all I do. I drink my 6-pack at night, I watch the game, and then I go to work, and that's all it is.
You can't drink Milwaukee Ice every night.
I know, you gotta
mix it up.
Yeah, you gotta try out like a little lucky here and there,
Yeah, whatever's on sale, really.
Which I guess, those are still like salt of the earth kind of people, but at the same time, they're not typically happy people.
No.
I find either is where
complacent, definitely.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to life than just sinking screws into drywall.
Well, that's don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Good to know how.
Yeah.
Nick Dyack though, he's like a jack of all trades. Small town, down to earth, but like
grew up in
worldly.
the city, but learned from a cordon bleu chef. There's a lot about that guy, but it's you take the good with everybody.
I'd say Almont in Ontario made you.
Almont made me who I am, really. Yes. Small town, 3,700 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Setting fires.
We did a lot of dumb shit growing up there.
I don't know. It's kind of the thing that you kind of have to do, especially when you don't have things to do. It's like you find.
We made a lot of cool stuff. And this was before cell phones, before internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a black book and a calling card. And
nice.
my black book with all my buddies' phone numbers in it and a calling card with $20 on it. And $20 would make me, it would last the whole summer between, like grade 11, grade 12, grade 10, grade 11, whatever.
Yeah.
$20 is a lot of quarters.
Yeah, it is.
And you don't make a lot of phone calls, right? Because I knew like 8 people and I was hanging out with 7 of them. So I'd call one guy once a day, maybe once every 2 days. So that was my phone. That was my contact list.
Yeah, well, and especially in those days, because small town kind of people, you call one of them, it's like, where are we partying tonight? Right, pass it along.
Yeah.
And everybody shows up at the quarry or in the bush or whatever sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
we threw a party one time. Well, I threw a party in Almont. So in a small town, I was living at my buddy's place at the time in Almont. I moved out of my parents' house when I was like 18 or so. Moved in with my buddy Matthew O'Brien. He was the first one to own a house. Somehow he got a mortgage in a house about the size of this room. 3 of us moved in because that made sense at the time.
As it does, yeah.
And so everybody most of the people, a lot of our friends are still living with their parents. Nobody knew what to do on New Year's. But in every small town there's a curling rink and there's a hockey rink.
Of course.
And above every one of the curling rinks there's usually a pretty decent community hall with a bar attached to it. So luckily Almont had one of those. So I threw a party, called it the Fanny Party, the first Friday after New Year's. Because nobody knew what to do on New Year's.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd throw a party. I told like 6 people and made one flyer. And put one flyer up on one telephone pole and told about 6 people. Rented all the PA systems. I DJ'd the whole party. Hired bouncers, bartenders, made drink tickets, all that stuff. The only way you could get a liquor license to make it legal was if you donated all the profits to a non-profit organization.
No problem. You can have the empties, right? So.
Well, and all the profit. But my mom at the time, she ran a non-profit organization called the Lanark County Therapeutic Riding Program. So she taught disabled people how to ride horses.
Oh, cool.
Both mentally and physically, but mostly mentally disabled people. So I didn't realize it at the time that my mom was like, why don't you just... I'll help you. We'll do this. And I was like, okay, cool. So my mom kind of helped me set it all up. Like 125 people showed up, sold out of most of the booze,
Nice.
sold out of all the drink tickets. So sold more drink tickets than I gave drinks out. So I actually made more money because there was a cutoff time. but I was selling. I think it was an arm length of tickets was $10.
Oh, sweet.
Right? So had this giant rager of a party, and like the whole town showed up, organized the whole thing, woke up the next day on about an hour of sleep, took back all the rental equipment. Well, I woke up to my mom banging on my door. It's time to bring back the rented stuff. I was like, God damn, I just went to bed. So, and then at that point, everybody was like, why don't you like throw parties for a living? And I was like, that's not a viable way to live. I was taught that you need to not enjoy your job and do construction or do like hard labor or do something that, because everybody I grew up in a small town, there was no fancy people, there was no people enjoying the time. It was they're all going to salt mines.
Yeah, basically, it's the good old boys thing, but it's just like you ask a friend for a hand, you give him a hand or sort of thing like that, but at the same time though too, it's like you don't ask too often.
Right.
You know the rules, right?
Yeah.
Like
in today's society, though, I can imagine had I done that with everybody's all, like supporting each other now, and it's a lot softer. And I probably could have made a path with that because it worked well. I'd still like to do that.
I think there's probably more phony people now, though.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing is, that, like in a small town, everybody knows each other, so
call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah, like you fuck over a couple people, you're only going to do that twice, maybe, and everybody knows about it. So yeah, it doesn't last long.
That goes back to what we were saying before. Not a lot of people have. What is it? A lot of people have in today's society have said things without getting knocked out the way they should have, or something to that effect.
Yeah, strong Mike Tyson quote.
Yeah. Song's list. Yeah. It's very different than like
I'm 40 now.
You're 40. I'm 39 this August.
Yeah.
So that's same
difference. Yeah.
Same difference. Much different now than when I was in high school, for example.
Yeah, well, if somebody's older than you, doesn't matter what it does. It's like if they're a year older than you,
more respect.
Yeah, more respect. It's just there's a hierarchy, and it's there for a reason.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't talk down to people above you, and you learn that.
Most of the time, you don't even talk to them.
No,
unless spoken to.
Yeah, you keep your mouth quiet and you just sit and listen because you don't know enough to talk yet.
Even though chances are you knew more.
For some people, it made sense, but at the same time, though, too, it's like you learn a lot when you listen. Is the other thing, and it's like it may not be necessary information, but it's like, okay, well, I know who this person is now, though. I know why my parents don't want to talk to him, or why he's kind of this social outcast, or
why this entire group of people doesn't get along with him.
Yeah,
got a lot of that in a small town.
Yeah, and there's definitely the cliques and stuff like that happen, which I mean that happens everywhere, anyways. But it's because everybody knows the depths of the stories, and I mean, there's always, of course, always gossip and shit that's attached to it.
Three sides to every story as well.
Exactly, right? That's always a big part of it. Yeah. But that's the other part too, is that you can go ask the other person. It's like, well, what happened here? Like, let me tell you something.
Johnny was into the booze. And,
he's a good guy, though.
He's a really good guy. No, he fucked up the one night there. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Once Darlene lets him move back in, he'll get his shit together.
Third time's a charm, right?
So. God bless him.
Yeah. Well, that's why that Letterkenny show, like, I keep talking about it because it's just such a fucking beauty of a show.
Well, yeah. That's how everybody, where I grew up, that's how everybody talked as well.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Warms the cockles of my heart watching that show.
Throwing strawberries? That's barley.
Yeah. Great day for charring. Yeah.
Well, it's just it too. It's like, other than maybe a few accents or like a few things that are, it doesn't matter. Like you could put that show in any small town in Canada, and it plays out perfectly.
All the cliques are still there.
Yeah. Other than the French side of it, you got to be closer to Ontario.
There's a lot of them out here too. They came out for work.
It's as good as your French.
Well, she's pretty bastardized.
Yeah, I mean, I'm French, and my mom didn't speak English when she went to school. She had to learn English. Because she only spoke French, but she never taught us French.
Okay.
Partly, I imagine there's some level of embarrassment there. That was part of it.
But you didn't speak French at home at all?
No, like we never got taught it. But with that said, though, too, the one reserve that was nearby, like everybody there spoke French, and then they're in Bellevue, which was a very French town, was down just as far the other way. So there was plenty of French communities around, sort of thing like that. But like anything, I mean, it's just like they're slightly different, so let's make fun of them.
Right.
This town that's 15 kilometers away, they're
Yeah.
slightly different.
Let's
than
beat
us.
them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get older, and it's like, fuck, you guys know how to party.
Yeah. You're actually really cool, man. Sorry for a decade.
Yeah, well, that's part of it too. Like, yeah, you're doing whatever 4-H, or you're helping people with certain things, and then you're like, well, fuck, whatever, this and that. And you all start getting older, and you like hit that party age, and everybody started to drive, and geez, there's a lot of good-looking girls in that town.
It expands your horizons a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, well, the place isn't so bad.
It's not so bad. Well, that's so where we grew up. Stittsville and Smith Falls. The two Stittsville wasn't so bad, but Smith Falls had the label of like just white trash, scummy town.
Yeah.
But the girls, so hot, right? So once everybody started to drive, always dating that chick from Stittsville, always dating that Smith Falls. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't blame him. Yeah. Her dad's a piece of shit, but she's okay.
Yeah. You want a quick BJ? Go to Stittsville.
Yeah. Because Tim Hortons in the county there too. Yeah, so clearly the same as every town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the great thing about it too is that you get those people that have a certain type of work ethic, and then you move to the city.
Very
and it's just like, oh boy, I understand city kids now. And even now, like I've lived here for, since 99, so 23 years now.
That's a good run.
But I've definitely lived here longer than anywhere else. But at the same time, it's just like, yep, fucking city kids, I tell you, man. They're just
a bit softer, it seems. But coming from a country boy, which I'd consider us a country boy, like you more so than me, but if I drove 38 seconds in any direction from Almont, I was in a corn or a hayfield.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, pretty much. But
then you're friends with every other farm boy on the fucking school, too, too, right? So,
yeah. And you don't want to get into a fight with those boys.
No, their hands are like fucking bricks.
Well, yeah. Throwing hay bales, that's fighting motions.
Yeah.
That's your mom.
Yeah, my mom could definitely beat the shit out of all three of us.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly, right? And that's the thing, everybody's tough back then because, like, everything was difficult. Nothing was easy. We didn't have fucking proper running water, actually, when I first moved to my farm.
Well,
so.
and you couldn't Google a way to make it easier. Right?
Well, you can't, just call somebody up even, like, shit. We first got our phone hooked up, sometimes you'd pick it up, there'd already be somebody on there.
Well, the party line.
Yeah.
We had that at our cottage, the family cottage, that's another story. That's a whole other episode out there. That's a beauty spot. Lac La Blanche. Which is the White Lake for all those non-French people.
Wait.
Mm-hmm. It's in a town called Buckingham. So it's a family cottage, purchased by my grandfather in, I believe, the 60s, and it was made in the 40s, built in the 40s. So it's just a bare bones 3-season, it's on a hill on a lake. Private lake, no public boat launches, so the cops can never actually go on the lake. I've been fishing and doing all kinds of stuff on that lake since I was a child with no boating permit and no fishing permit because there's never been a cop to issue any type of tickets. No life jackets.
Like, it gets away your drinking arms.
Drunk fishing all the time on the land and just landing these wonderful largemouth bass all the time. She caught her first largemouth there from the shore.
Nice.
But it's a fantastic spot. But
and you have your property is the only one with beach.
Yeah, there's 2 out of like the 14 cottages on this lake that have sand. We're very lucky to have that, but I think he bought it for like a handshake and a couple of pre-rolled cigarettes, I think, back in the day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But it's on a sandy hill, so as time goes by, the cottage is slowly sliding down the hill.
It's going to become a houseboat at some point.
Yeah. So they, hey.
Watch your butt.
We've got a disturbance.
You're good. You're still in frame.
But she's kicking stuff.
She's stretching. Now she's
on this one.
Yeah, we're good on that.
She's a big puppers.
She's still figuring it out. She's been to the cottage.
Oh,
I forget where I was going with that. There was a purpose to that. That happens
Grew
a lot.
up on the cottage. Did a bunch of stupid things.
Yeah.
Small town life.
Small town life. Well, that's it. Yeah. So we call it cottages there. Some people out here call them camps.
Party line.
Oh, party line. We had the party line at the cottage. Yeah. Because everybody on the lake had one line. Yeah. And a lot of people, they would reserve times on the line.
Yeah.
And that was the only time you could get all your information. You out of here?
She's getting antsy.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I'm not. I want to listen, but
it'll be online, and like definitely not next week.
Gotta push stop. That's my alarm, actually. If you don't mind me ducking out.
No, do what you gotta do.
Right here. I took Champex to quit smoking.
Oh yeah, isn't that like a disassociative that also had a side effect of non-smoking?
Essentially. It worked. Everybody that I talked to had terrible effects with it. And I called my dad because I figured it might have been genetics.
Okay.
So my dad smoked since I met him. And which was at birth. And
Alright now.
yeah, that's bad news. So I asked. So my dad's been smoking the whole time. I've been smoking since I was about 15 or so. I figure. So I've been smoking for over half my life, which I figured that was enough. I was getting bored with it.
Yeah, as long as you just.
They're just. Well, every time I go to the doctor for a checkup, he's like, "That sounds great. You're doing everything's great. Everything's great." I was like, "You got it. When's the last time you calibrated that?" So I call my dad and I was like, "Hey, Dad, you took Champex once or twice, did you not, for quitting smoking?" And he's like, "That worked great. Yeah, Champex worked great. I quit 4 times with it."
You're not selling it well, but
yeah, nailed it. So I was like, "Well, okay, I'll give it a whirl." And then everybody else I talked to said, "Be careful, there, you're gonna get nightmares."
Oh.
So no nightmares. This is a little ad for Champex. I've had dreams, crazy dreams. Every night, like vivid. The first 2 weeks, there was lucid dreaming. Because after a couple of days, they were so vivid that I knew I was in them.
Oh,
and I could start controlling them.
Yeah.
They've all been on the same kind of level. It's all been post-apocalyptic, but like not to the point where like not Terminator type shit, but it was like
there's actually like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, like, but I was always like on a mission where I was like saving something or like running from something.
Like your shirt's torn, but there's like sunshine like beating on your chest.
That's right. Yeah. Roses are blooming in the background. Yeah, it's been awesome. And managed to quit smoking, and like every night I get like 3 or 4 like full length feature movies.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, nothing else. Just keep it up for that.
Well, that's what I told the doctor when I went back. For like, he was like, "Is everything okay?" Because a lot of people like want to kill themselves after they start taking this. I was like, "That's at what point is the what do they say that when the cure is worse than the disease? That's when you got to stop." But like, if this drug is like making people want to kill themselves, maybe you should just smoke.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
Which essentially is what you're doing anyway, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I guess it's about.
Yeah, you're kind of taking one habit for the other.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But.
So I managed to. I'm like 40 days now. Solid cigarettes after 24 years, 25 years almost. That's a good run.
Yeah, well, a lot of people say too, it's not even just the cravings, because you can...
The cravings stop after like 7 days.
Yeah,
it's the
Buddhist thing even talk about that. It's like, if you can understand your cravings, take a step back for them, be aware that that's all it is.
Mm.
Think about something, do something else.
Mm.
It'll pass within minutes. But it's the habits that you have. It's
well,
like,
that's the problem.
I'm gonna go start up my truck and have a smoke, or I got to work and have a quick smoke.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Coffee, driving, mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I partnered it with Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking, very popular book that a lot of
That's
people.
the one they even tell you, like, you can smoke during reading
the
this
whole
book.
up till like the last chapter.
Yeah, and it's like, this book will still make you quit smoking.
Yeah. So I kind of doubled them up, and then used the psychology behind the book with the help of heavy pharmaceutical influence.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
It worked quite well. But then again, the hardest times were drinking with the boys and driving to work in the morning with coffee. That was a tough one. So I slipped up once or twice, but grand scheme of things,
Well, it's pretty solid though, because it's fucking tough. Like, people say that a lot of the time they compare it to always to other drugs and stuff like that, and it's like, you don't even really understand it until you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's that monkey on your back. Like, some people is like, yeah, I've been smoking for 10 years. I can pick it up right now and get back in.
Well, that's the thing. You're a puff away from a pack a day, I've heard.
Yeah.
Clever catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like cooked up by DeMaurier?
Most likely, yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's right here.
Yeah. It's not going to hurt. You know?
Get a candy bar, maybe a pack smokes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of candy bars, they used to sell Popeye candy cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're Popeye candy sticks.
Oh,
And they
right.
took the little bit of red dye off the end of them.
Saving lives.
Yeah. One shot. Well, I mean, like that was, so when did Popeye candy cigarettes come out? Early 80s?
Yeah,
probably.
Stuff, yeah.
Right, so they're grooming 5-year-olds to just rock a quick dart, right?
Yeah, look how cool you are.
Yeah. All the other kids want one. Sure, it's candy, but like.
Yeah. Certain addicts right there. It's like, hey man, you got those Popeyes? Come
Well,
on.
even like remember Big League Chew?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just hack a bit of dip with the boys. Right?
Yeah, just stuff a big chunk in your side there.
Yeah. You're 7. Smooth. Well played, Big Tobacco.
Yeah, these guys got it going on.
That's actually that's impressive. And now you're not allowed to like have anything unless it has quinoa and kale in it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the other part is too is that that makes it kind of worse. It's like, oh no, you're gonna have this or that. It's like, okay, but I'm gonna just start freebase McDonald's now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which, what do you figure? You think you'd die faster smoking, say what, 10 cigarettes a day or like 3 Big Mac meals?
I think
the one guy did a thing on the Big Mac meals.
Yeah, well, that supersized me guy,
Yeah.
he did it for a month.
He wasn't well.
No, well, even his wife was just like, I don't know why he keeps doing this to himself.
Yeah. Well, look how much money he made from Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, he did all right. He definitely got enough money for a fitness trainer. And
Yeah,
stuff like that. But
quick lipo.
But at the same time, though, too, that's brutal. But with that said, though, too, there's got to be some sort of genetic component to it because there's some people that can eat that shit nonstop, and it seems to be okay. I mean, sure, they might have some sort of level of fitness and other shit going on, but with that said, though, too, like even one Big Mac meal a day, you'd think
Still, there's so
much, preservatives and shit in it.
I don't eat that much, but I kind of stopped, but like a year or two ago, I'd go to work, go to the gym after work. On the way home, I would get 2 bacon double cheeseburgers.
Okay.
On the way home, come home, have dinner, and I felt like it was like I was kind of having an affair on my salad. If I brush my teeth before I get home, the romaine won't notice. But like I noticed, I felt shittier. I smelled different.
Yeah.
Like my perspiration.
Yeah.
And like I felt not as energetic as if I were to come home and have an actual real food meal.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, like you think about the cost.
Wow.
It's like I could buy a proper steak every night for the same price that I'm putting in this shit in.
But that's the other thing, though. If you don't have a lot of money, and you're a single mother with 3 kids, it's way cheaper for you to go and get 3 Happy Meals than it is for you to go get chicken breast, a head of lettuce, some tomatoes, and some cheese or whatever to make a decent salad and some like a full, well-balanced meal is more expensive than 3 Happy Meals.
Kind of, because if you get a full rotisserie chicken, you can turn that into
You could get lunches the next day, etc.
or a full meal, or put that into
Yeah.
There's ways
That's
around that.
true. Yeah,
There's
They make it more accessible though.
right, and it's more in your face, especially in the city because everything's so easy. It's like,
And you
well,
get a
it's just
flashy
something
toy,
quick,
so the
and
kids will shut the fuck up if they get it.
That's the other part too. Like, there's part of that, but again, I grew up on the farm, so.
But so you must like proper food more than shitty food.
That's part of it. It makes me feel good is part of it. Like, I did the stint of eating garbage for a while, then you clean up and you start eating salads properly and fresh fruit in the morning, and it's like, wow, I start to feel better, and then you start cutting out more and more of that shit, and it's just like, just don't eat fries anymore.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna go get a burger, just eat the burger. Don't worry about fries.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, even that makes a big difference.
Your body kind of tells you too, right?
Yeah, and not again. I'm no saint. I definitely relapse, and Five Guys Bend Over Surprise is really good stuff too, right? So
still talking about burgers?
But, wait, hold on.
I remember college.
But it's also one of those things where it's like, it it's an exception, and it shouldn't be the rule of how you feed yourself.
No.
You know, and that's the thing too. Like I don't, well, probably because I can afford slightly better, so I don't have to superstore purchase everything all the time, and then kind of nickel dime every meal
as you need it, you get it, and then it's even fresher that way.
Yeah, so
fresh from Mexico on a truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You need a papaya once in a while.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the other part, though, too, is that you kind of just start doing some of those things because there's always that same comparison. It's difficult being overweight, but it's also difficult being fit. So which level of difficulty do you want?
Well, I'd rather be the oldest person at the gym as opposed to the youngest person at the old folks' home. That's a nursing home, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Every time.
I'd be proud of that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like the little bit of healthy eating, a little bit of fitness and stuff like that. You're not necessarily going to live longer, but your quality of life is going to be better.
So possibly the same end date.
Yeah.
But the last 10 years could be very, very different.
Yeah. Like we were talking about there earlier about how people living in old folks' homes. I mean, they have diseases and stuff like that, but a lot of people end up dying from loneliness.
Yeah. And being stagnant too.
Yeah,
right?
they.
So you fall down, break your hip. That's when old folks die faster. Is if when they become, if they're not walking around, if they're not
fully sedentary because they don't want to get up and it's only like a 30-minute class. I don't want to do that shit.
Right, it's down the hall.
Yeah.
Well, I read something a couple weeks ago. They said it was from Harvard, so you know it's real because I read it on the internet.
Yeah. Just a headline on Facebook.
That's right.
Didn't read the article.
No. Whatever's in bold, that's where I go. Like you said, loneliness has the same effect, like chronic loneliness, we can call it, has the same effect on the body as like 10 to 12 cigarettes a day. Yeah. What if you're a lonely smoker?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. And you're just sitting there, just hunched over, just fuck.
Fuck. Probably true, I was small. Settle out.
No, that's what they say too. Even just the sedentary lifestyle, like you're
terrible.
It's like it's slowly murdering you.
Yeah, well, they have stand-up desks to fix that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the solution either, but
we're lucky in that regard because I've never. I don't know about you. I don't think you have, but I've never had an office job.
No.
Right, where I've been sitting down. I've been standing. So I've done kitchens. I've worked on farms. Had a paper route where I used to bicycle away from a Rottweiler every morning.
There you go.
On my BMX with 0 speeds, right? So that was exciting for like $8 a week. And then construction. I did bricklaying, and then our lovely trade that we met each other in.
Interior systems mechanics.
One of the finest. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of for me in particular, it was, I just didn't like the idea of the office life because, I'm a big person. Like I felt it would be like a waste of my size to just kind of sit behind a desk. I wanted to do something kind of physical.
Yeah.
And even though I fucking hated construction for most of my 20s.
Keeps you going though.
It kept me
and a tangible skill.
Well, and it was the kind of job that I needed at that time in my life because I was a fucking hooligan. So
right. No one's ever chosen our paths.
No, well, exactly, right? And it's the largest collection of ex-cons and addicts there is.
One step away from being a warden when I was running jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. They might have had it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least those fuckers are in cages.
They had cages and guns. And they had quiet time.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a bit of a difference there, but I think that's like most things. I mean, you're not going to enjoy what you're doing in your 20s. You don't have any skills, you don't have money to do shit, so it's like you just got to fucking pull up your bootstraps and do something.
Right.
Like it's going to be something you don't fucking like.
Yeah.
But
I ended up liking it though.
And that's the thing. It has that really good sense of accomplishment. Then it gets to the point where, like I was telling you, I was in automotive there for a little bit, and it's just like I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
It looks the same when it leaves as when it came in.
Yeah, well, there's no sense of accomplishment. I can't just, even when you do a decent job, which I didn't stay in it long enough to do a good job really necessarily, not like the actual pros, but even then, it didn't have the same fulfilling level of what construction could do.
Yeah.
And they started getting these calls back, and it's like, I don't want to do this. And then by the time the third call came, it's like, yeah, I can put shit together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's funny you chose those two because those are like the only two trades, maybe hairstyling, that you have to buy all of your own tools. Everybody else gets all their shit, unless you own your own business. Yeah. Every other trade gets all their shit supplied to them, and we are like the...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you get lasers and shotguns supplied. Everything else is like, oh, oh, Ryobi, get out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's all I can afford, man.
Yeah. You got like a 4-foot stand on your tape measure there? Yeah. Here's a 20, get a fucking reel.
Yeah. It's not Fat Max fired. I was thinking of maybe going back there. Growing up, so you grew up on a farm, proper food, well-balanced diet, without knowing what the friggin' Canadian food guide standard was. You had a well-balanced plate of food because your mom knew what you needed to eat, right? And it was available in the garden, most likely.
Yeah, well, and we had family that would have gardens just for us kids, and like that. Or we'd trade beef for certain things, or and they knew we had like 4 boys. Like I got 3 older brothers.
Yeah, you're gonna need this.
Yeah, like they knew we could eat, and we fucking did.
Yeah, well, you're big fellas,
right? So that was always a big part of it, sort of thing too. But I mean, especially living there, that was about as close as you could get to what organic actually was.
Living off the land, essentially.
Yeah, like I learned how to milk a cow. We had fresh milk, sort of thing too, right? So
when we grew up in Kelowna, when my parents were still together, we lived on an orchard. Some other farmer took care of the actual orchard. It was apples, peaches, and cherries.
Nice.
And we lived in a farmhouse.
Shit like a goose after a couple
days. So my mom thought that I was just a piece of shit kid growing up, and I didn't like her, I think, because I was lactose intolerant. So when she tried to feed me, I would basically yell at her in baby speak, right? But she didn't understand. So then it took them a while, but then they realized that I was lactose intolerant, and so my dad, I think, based on the stories that I've heard, I don't know how true it all is. It's all hearsay at this point.
Yeah. If you just hit him, it'll make it.
Yeah, well, if I was there, I was like, well, you're not hitting him hard enough, clearly. And then I became a drywaller. So they started feeding me goat's milk because there was goats on the farm.
Yeah.
So we'd go out and milk, because apparently goat's milk doesn't have any lactose in it. Learned that one from being one of those fellas.
Yeah.
And then grew out of it, and now. When people are like, oh, I'm gluten insensitive, or I'm lactose insensitive, I'm like, you're just gonna fart more. Like, just come on, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Well, and a lot of that shit sort of stuff too. It's like I get bloaty after a sandwich too.
Yeah.
You go. Well, I guess that's the other part though too, is because after lunch we get up and go do something.
Right.
So that bloat goes down.
It's
after
like
an hour.
Taking a walk after a good meal.
Yeah, but
you should, or go. Yeah, bang out 40 sheets with.
Yeah, it's just it. Yeah, you sit there humped over your fucking computer after. Yeah, sits there like a fucking lump for 3 hours.
Right,
like,
actually rotting in your stomach.
Yeah.
Instead of moving around. That's a good call. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I think that's also part of it too. Where, don't get me wrong, I mean, we probably could all cut down on some level of carbs and stuff. Most
of it.
And I kind of wonder about that when doctors say that kind of stuff too, because it's like, let's just say it's a sensitivity to something, because that way they'll eat less bread and grains and they'll eat more vegetables because it's better for them anyway.
Yeah.
So it could be, like one of those helpful white lie kind of things.
Well, did you hear the one fella that? So when they used to make bread back in the day, say in the 1800s, they would let the yeast rise. They let it proof. A loaf of bread would be a 3-day event, especially in Italy, that's treasures there. And in France, but like all their, whoa, that's good stuff over there. That's the best bread I've ever had. But it used to take 1 to 3 days for a loaf of bread to be made. Now they're pounding them out in like minutes, hours in factories. So when it was a 1 to 3 day event, the glutens would actually break down from the yeast being active, and like everything was dissolving and kind of essentially. The enzymes were reacting, and everything was actually already starting to break down within the bread.
Yeah.
You eat that when it's already half broken down, a lot easier on the body.
Yeah.
Now everybody's getting all this assembly line bread with no chance for all the enzymes to do what they're supposed to do.
Well,
so people are reacting more to it.
Well, not only that, a lot of that stuff, if you don't buy the fresh made bread, because you can see the ingredient difference that you get, let's say a loaf of Dempster's or something, really good bread, but it's got all those preservatives in it.
Leave them both on the counter?
Yeah.
The one that molds after 3 days, 2 days even, something depending on what season we're in.
Yeah.
And then a loaf of white Wonder Bread that just never molds.
So you have to close the bag.
No, no. I would much rather eat the moldy bread before it's moldy.
Yeah,
right.
For sure, yeah, and that's what it is. Like you see the fresh daily baked bread sort of thing like that. It has half the ingredients because, like the other stuff that's made to sit there for at least a couple days. Well, like you say, I mean, if it's got all these preservatives, then there is no natural enzymes that can do anything. They're not allowed to activate this.
Yeah, and if there was, they'd probably counteract.
Yeah, and then the same thing. You eat it, it makes you feel shittier because it does the same thing. It just sits there and doesn't digest the same way either, right? So it's kind of a double whammy sort of shit too, like that. That makes a lot of sense because there's so many ways to eat naturally. There's
also way more ways to eat conveniently.
Yeah. So true.
Prepackaged pasta salads.
Yeah.
That just exactly. Make your own fuck.
It's pasta salad. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, just have pasta.
You don't have 20 minutes in your day. Come on.
It's literally 7 minutes to al dente. It says it on the package.
Yeah, so true. I mean, wake up 10 minutes early. Get the fuck.
Yeah, well, that's tough. It's the first 10 minutes that are the hardest of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when I moved out from living at home. The first house that I moved into, that I wasn't allowed white bread, and I wasn't allowed sugary cereal, and I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling. Growing up.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Right. Even when my parents got divorced, it was the same rules at both houses. My dad would buy 1 box of sugary cereal, and we could have 1 bowl on Saturday.
Nice.
Right, and then you'd get the fuck out of the house and go run for 9 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Burn it off.
Yeah. So when I moved out, 18, first trip to the grocery store, I think, because I really liked the way my mom made Greek salads, right? And I still make them that way today. Right? So peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, feta cheese, olives, a little olive oil, balsamic, a little lemon, right? So I bought that, a loaf of white Wonder Bread, and a box of honeycombs, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And all I ate for like a month was like white bread and sugary cereal. And then after a month, I was like, okay, I get it. Okay. Enough of that. Yeah. And I still never watched wrestling. So 2 out of 3 stuck, you know?
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you get some of the clips when you get older, and you're just like, yeah, the wrestling had a good moment in the sunshine for a little bit there.
It's funny, they didn't let me eat 3, they didn't let me consume 3 fake things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that, you eat regular Cheerios.
Like, they're still full of sugar too, though.
They're...
Or like the baseline Cheerios.
Baseline Cheerios, just straight up Cheerios. Yeah, that was...
The OGs.
Yeah, like, open up the box and that's Saturday morning breakfast. Like, mom and dad aren't going to get up. And
sometimes
like,
milk.
Yeah, sometimes they hit the floor or whatever, and you just...
They had extra flavor.
A little bit of lint there.
I know we had a dog. Yeah. You ever hear of the serial killers that put, actually I didn't even mean for that pun. They do milk then cereal in the bowl?
Yeah, I heard about those fucking psychotic people.
Like they've actually murdered people.
Yeah, they must.
Like, or at least have someone in the basement locked up.
Yeah, like...
Milk then cereal? How do you know what the ratio is going to be? That's what's, I think, maybe wrong with the world.
Well, those are the same people that put the fucking toilet roll in the backwards too, right? So...
I change every house that I go to where it's wrong. I flip it over.
Yeah, it's an ADD kind of.
The patent, the actual patent for the first roll was forward facing.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, not only that too.
Unless you have a cat, I've heard that cats, because it never ends. If a cat gets onto it and starts to fuck around, then you just close the bathroom door.
Yeah.
When you're not at home.
Or get a sack and walk to the river. Right?
Or just, or on a dog like a regular person.
Well, the other thing is too, it's like, well, you rip off too much or whatever. It's like...
But I'd rather have a clean ass than...
Well, not only that, it's like, how many squares do you use? Are you just fucking yarding it out? Like, I have no idea how much going on here. It could be 4, it could be 37. I have no idea. Like,
well, the toilet doesn't flush. Yeah, there's a fine line between too much and not enough.
Yeah. And ply is important. I mean, we've all worked in those places with the El Cheapo single ply. Might as well be a piece of foolscap kind of.
The porta potties on job sites. I've trained my bowels for a pre-work and if necessary a post-work.
Yeah.
But never in between unless like I shouldn't be at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's actually what's helped me, and that same thing, staying away from from pop and soda and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
If I have that at lunch, I guarantee I'm gonna have a shit within a half an hour of finishing the meal.
It's not normal. It's not regular food.
Right. So yeah, you drink whatever your water. Or well, water's honestly kind of the best anyway.
Well, what do you say? Yeah, like if it's hot out and we're working hard, at least 2 liters easily.
Oh yeah, during the day minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's real easy. But yeah, that's usually what it is. Yeah, your morning crunch, and then you get home. You actually feel your body relax. Oh, I'm at home.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 minutes. You're sitting. I was like, okay, back to the
but
bathroom.
then all that's part of the wind down.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah. That's the other part too. It's like, well, I got something to do after work. I'll just lay back in the truck for a second. Oh, okay. There's going to be a bathroom here.
Shitting. At least I have something to look forward to when I get home. Sitting down.
No, but I've done that, like having to go to Kung Fu or something like that afterwards and relax in the vehicle. I was like, I just get 10 minutes of shut eye sort of thing like that and get that relaxed feeling. It's like, gotta go inside.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Yeah. Go duck behind a bush or something.
Oh yeah,
lose a pair of socks or whatever.
Did you ever come out to the Alderside Field House? Did you ever work out there?
Oh yeah, that fucking monster soccer place.
Yeah. So that's where the McLeods did some of their finest work.
I believe it.
Yeah, the East Coast boys.
Yeah.
So that particular job I was running for Atomic, that one blew down. Do you remember that?
Oh, I heard about that. That's right.
We were about 8 months delayed to start that project. Giant for context, giant indoor soccer center in the middle of nowhere on a hill in a very windy region of southern Alberta.
Yeah, well, it was big enough to have 4 full-size arenas plus gym space. And
4 full-size indoor soccer plus running track elevated along the outside of the whole thing, plus offices, plus
gyms, bathrooms.
Yeah, workout zone, all that. So massive structures, I-beams, girders that supported the thing were probably 3 feet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, same size shit that they use for skyscrapers.
Right.
Yeah.
So huge, because all the middle was zero supports, right? So
Yeah.
it was an engineering marvel about how there was no supports in the middle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so before
architects just fucking hand job each other.
Just
Fuck, good job.
Oh, great. Engineers join in as a party. Right. They about 2 months about a month before we were supposed to start there. That was a Scott Builder's job. James somebody. He was like the lead carpenter on site. So there was a freak windstorm. They called it a wave of wind, like a rogue wave of wind. And so the structure was essentially perched on top of a hill, gradual incline coming this way, but back this way it was a bit more concave. And this rogue wind wave came in.
Yeah.
The ironworkers had left that day because of the high winds. They did everything they were supposed to. There was guy wires holding the whole thing together temporarily until they secured it all. Yeah. And they put the zoom boom up with the forks extended, holding up the main I-beam that was going to take the brunt of the wind because they saw it coming. Well, it did nothing. And this carpenter was in the middle of the building. Wind came, hit all the face of all the beams and girders, started collapsing the building from one end, and the whole building fell down around this guy. One guy standing in the middle of the whole entire building. Yeah. The whole building, massive, tons. I think,
didn't he actually get like serious psychiatric help after that?
Yeah. I saw him on a job site 6-8 months ago as a laborer. Looked shot out. Next in command to working for a temp agency, looked like Father Time had not been kind.
Yeah, but it looked like Father Time with the fucking white. Yeah,
like lost all of his hair, and he was not doing so hot. Like Fritos and a Coke for lunch, right?
Yeah.
And
see, it's those fucking Fritos that did him in.
That also preserved him the whole time too, though. Right?
Yeah.
So, but the whole fucking building felt. So I think because they sent all the steel back to China for scrap.
Yeah.
And they got pennies on the dollar for it because it was all bent and compromised.
Yeah.
There was 790 tons or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, massive place.
Right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing fell around him. Not a single scratch on the guy.
Yeah, that's... Well, again, yeah, you see something like that happen, it's like, this is the end. This is the end.
This is it. This is how it all... And then...
Yeah.
Was there any more?
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's like, what is life at this point? Like, did I actually just live through this? Am I...
But that's... Yeah. Was that the dream? And then, like...
Yeah. Did I just step into the Matrix?
That's what I start thinking about my dreams with Champex.
Yeah.
Because they've all been on the same wavelength. Almost a series. Almost like
season 2 now?
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm waiting for the next episode to come up. Because I've developed a bit of an immunity to the drug because I've been taking it for so long, so the dreams have died off. But it's been over 30, 40 days now, so the smoking's also died off, so I believe it's doing its work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should stop taking the drug or not, but anyway. But, so, when I'm dreaming, it's always the same scene. It's always, so I don't, like... And then I told that to a buddy at work. He's like, well, maybe that's real. And this is the dream. I was like, oh, well, they've already made that movie, though. But
yeah. But that's so true, though, too. It's like you're awake for 16-ish hours a day. What happens? Like, we don't actually know. I mean, that's goes like into that whole simulation theory kind of thing, too, right? It's like, well, there is no proof that any of this is real. Yeah. Right? I mean, if you can touch it, right? It's and even if it isn't, it's like, well, to our level of understanding or plane of existence, this is good enough, anyways. Because
speaking of knocking on a table, they did the math on it. You have a 1 in 56 to like the 100th power, a chance that if you slap a table, the molecules in your hand and the molecules in the table will align in such a way that your hand can pass directly through the table.
Yeah.
It's an impossible chance, but there is a chance that could happen.
Yeah, well, that was that, they talked about that stuff in that Men Who Started Goats movie. And they even put a thing that usually like it's based on a true story thing, whatever. At the start of that movie, it was like, more of this is true than you'd believe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
That, which is kind of cool, so it's like, yeah, we're right at the end of the movie where he actually runs through the wall. I don't believe that part, but it's like, the rest of it, I completely believe that there was like full-on hippie psychedelic level psychological warfare going on, and it's like, how far can you go into people's minds? How many people are actually clairvoyant?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the other thing, like, we kind of throw around that whole Sixth Sense sort of thing like that, or, you know, like, that old Jamaican lady that was on...
Cleo.
Oh, yeah. Miss Cleo!
Oh, no!
Like, she was always doing her thing, but...
She was debunked at one point, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, too, like, there are some people, or even just in... Well, something simple, like, you're driving your vehicle, and you feel something, you look over and somebody's staring at you, it's like, oh...
Yeah.
How often does that happen? Like, there's something that...
Deja vus.
Yeah, like, something that connects us...
Also, read a thing a while back about how, so a lot of people are scared of clowns, a lot of people are scared of lifelike dolls.
Yeah.
But it's an innate feeling and sensation that a lot of people have, that a lot of people are just genuinely scared of, these like lifelike dolls.
Yeah.
So why is that? Possibly in a time gone by, there was a being that was like that was terrifying and beat the shit out of humans or did whatever, or was like an overlord or whatever.
Yeah.
That why is everybody scared of the same thing?
Well, I wonder about that with that's exact line of thinking. Is that why some people are so afraid of robots and AI becoming sort of thing? Because we at one point created a civilization basically that's big, like smarter, faster, immune to disease. They took us over and wiped us out and basically put us back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, here we are.
And we had to start over again.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were smart enough that they just kind of fucked off, or
it's like, we'll check back in a little bit.
Yeah, or a solar...
Here, let's see what COVID does to you guys. Oh, wait, let's take away the toilet paper. You guys, no, you're not ready for us to come back yet. The pressure lid a little bit lets you percolate for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but even something like a solar flare, like something like that could...
Wipe us out.
Wipe them out, sort of thing like that. But
it could also wipe out all of our shit. All of these cameras, all of the phones, everything.
Yeah, because our electrical charge is ionic. It's not actual electricity. Like
for like humans.
Yeah. So if there was a large electromagnetic pulse, it would take out all the machinery. So let's say, like you're saying, like these dolls or these robots, basically that we created that took us over. they all fucking hit the dust, sort of thing like that.
The asteroid for the dinosaurs
type thing, right? And they're finding now that there's. I was actually just reading this the other day that they're finding bones that are almost 1 million years older
than what they thought was the first.
With the first ancestors that we had, and then
I think I saw a headline about that not long.
Yeah, so they're like our timeline keeps getting screwed up because like we thought that a couple thousand years ago like that's when modern man started happening, but it's like
no, we knew.
But it was like
we knew that.
We definitely knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but the Sphinx are 5,000 years older than the pyramids, and it's like, well, there's people that are humming and hawing about that and say, okay, well, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, it's like that stuff's like at least 12,000 years old, and those are like 20-foot tall stone structures that were carved out,
and
seemingly like intentionally covered up,
right?
Like it was just under a big mound of dirt, And
then the forest took over, and even all the pyramids and. We went on a tour in Mexico what's the
Chichen Itza?
That range, but I forget the name of the zone. It's its own climate within Mexico. I forget the name of it. But so there's all these old pyramids and they keep finding new ones because they do infrared scanning and probably sonar and whatever else.
Yeah.
So they're finding they're everywhere, right? And they don't know how old. Well, they're starting to carbon date a lot of them, but it's insane. It's all the Mayan stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with stone. Like they have to find wood or old pottery or something.
Right.
You can't carbonate stone.
No, because it's been there for a little bit longer.
1 million or so years older.
You just moved it a little.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, but that's just such an interesting thing because we seem to have like some level of amnesia, right?
Young children. You must have heard that theory. It's not even a theory. You essentially, so going to the reincarnation thing.
Yeah.
You live your full life and then you die and then you get reincarnated. So the bright light at the end of the tunnel is actually you coming out of the womb to the bright light of the
next one
of the birthing station, whatever zone of time you're in.
Yeah.
Right, and then the amount of kids, so almost 100% of all kids that they interviewed before age 4. The closer they got, so even the ones that could talk younger, like a gifted age,
2 or 3 even.
They all remember being an older person, but then the mind takes over, and
well, we're indoctrinated into our current
society. And this is who you are now. And by age 4, pretty much every one of them forget who they used to be, but like pretty much every single kid that they interviewed knew who they were before.
Well, I've even heard people's kids talk about that. You're sitting there talking around, they're kind of like...
I used to have a friend that liked to go to the old box socials.
Yeah, or stuff like that. Or it's like, do you remember the other place?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like before here, right? Like, well, what do you guys mean? It's like, well, before I was this big, before... And it's like they don't have the words to explain it. But it's just like there was like... I was this man, and I had a blue truck.
Yeah.
And it's just like that, and it's just like... Whoa, what's going on here? Like they start giving you this weird amount of detail about things that's like,
and then you blame it all on an imaginary friend or something to make an adult mind feel calm about it, right?
Yeah, that's just it, and that's the other part too. Yeah, like there's that other layer of what's going on. It's like, well, what is life exactly? Like, are we just a random collection of things, or is there something?
And was it you keep trying till you get it right, or?
Yeah, well.
And what's right?
Kurt's Gazette, in a nutshell, does a really good one. It's not their original story. They animate a book, whatever they talk about it. It's basically that similar idea, sort of thing like that. But it's like it's more the idea that like a guy dies in a car crash. It's fucking horrendous, sort of thing like that. He goes to meet God, whatever, sort of thing like that. And it's like, well, I'm not really God, but it's good enough for what you understand. So so it's just like. I'm going to send you back into a Chinese peasant woman in 544.
Try this.
Like, yeah, it's like, what do you mean? You putting me back in time? It's like, well, I guess from your perception, it would seem like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like
sideways.
It's like, well, it's just you and me here. Where's everybody else? It's like, well, there's nobody else. This is your universe. you're going to live all the lives of every human that's ever existed. And then once you do that, you'll be ready to be born into my existence. Right?
Okay, that, it's either that or you die and then the human mind can't comprehend the amount of nothingness that it actually is when you die.
Yeah.
Right? We can't comprehend what it's like to have $10 billion because that number's too big, too vast,
same way you can't remember pre-life.
Right, exactly. But then you couldn't. The mind can't comprehend nothing because even right now I'm trying to think about nothing, and I think nothing is something.
Yeah.
But it's
a black void, but it's like no, black is a color. It's
yeah, but
something.
it's fucking nothing. There's nothing there at all. You're not even there to think about it. Yeah. But the mind can't comprehend that, and I've been leaning towards that's what it is. But there's no way to justify or quantify who's right, what's right, where do you go.
Yeah, well that's always.
But then maybe that's the end of the train. Maybe you've done 300. Well, I guess 8 billion tries, and then it's fucking nothing, right? Yeah,
could be that. Well, that's always the weird thing that atheist versus religious people get into those types of debates where it's like, well, why does anything mean anything then if you don't have a God? It's like, well, because this is all we ever have.
Yeah.
So
this, if I
don't do something now, I'm never gonna have another chance.
Yeah, this is your shot. You guys. Eminem said it best.
Yeah.
One shot, one opportunity.
Yeah, Mom Spaghetti. You know?
Maybe that's all he had.
Yeah, and I understand that. I mean, there's some level of hubris to it, and that's why there's a need for religion, and it's also the fear of death is so much that we can't handle. So
I think the need for religion makes people feel better.
Yeah.
The premise behind most religions is don't be a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And you'll live a better life. Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
If you're not a piece of shit, you will attract non-piece of shit energy.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. If you need a book to tell you to be a good person, you don't have a spiritual issue. You have an empathy issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I understand it's, again, coming from privileged white man's perspective, I can talk like that sort of thing, is where there's definitely parts in the country or parts of the world that all people have is religion. So right. So it's
wishing on a star type thing, and it makes them feel better. Yeah.
Right. So we can't paint everybody with the same brush.
That's fair.
Right? So
gives them something to strive towards.
Right. Because that's kind of the other thing too. Because
I guess we are pretty fucking privileged, eh?
Dude, you have no. And that's the thing. I keep thinking about that. It's just like I fucking hated that word. And it's just like if I'm having an emotional reaction to it, there's probably something to it then.
Did you ever meet Moses Haile? Him and his brothers they worked with. We started working with them with Atomic. So Moses and I we became pretty good buddies. He's running jobs now for ATEC. Okay. He used to live in Africa, in not Ethiopia, the one beside it. I feel pretty white and privileged right now. Lovely fucking guy. So anyway, he worked for the UN as a translator. Got himself into several precarious situations. He's got a bullet hole from here and then exit wound out here. Nice. He's got scars on his head from guns being pushed so hard into his head. He's had the story he told me, hair on end all the time. A bunch of child soldiers and whatever else they took him and his crew, even though working for the UN, nope, they're not going to touch us. They did. Yeah. So they took him, held a gun to his head, pulled the trigger, misfired, took the gun away, fired, the bullet went in the air, put the gun back to his head, misfired, and then the guy was like, "This is your lucky day, get the fuck out of here." And then he took him and his wife, moved to Canada, had 3 kids, beautiful kids here, prosperous life as a drywall.
Fuck.
So he when I asked him how bad it was, he used to eat bugs for sustenance. He used to do when I ask him what it's like, he's like, I can't explain to you how privileged you are, how nice it is here.
This existence is so fucking far.
He's like, no matter what I tell you, you will never comprehend what it's like, how good you guys have it. This on my worst day here, it's not a bad day. Like, we complain about what we do all the time, and it's shitty and it's tough, and I'd rather do that than...
Oh, shucks, I had a rough one.
Yeah, oh no, I got paid. Oh, yeah. Like, so, like, but like, it's like the whole adage, like, the more you know, the more you realize that the more you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'll never understand what he's gone through, or like even to the ones that didn't make it over.
Yeah.
I've no concept, because we got the heat on, we got projection lights, we got cameras, we got, like,
yeah.
This is...
Yeah, well, my hometown has a pretty good exchange or acceptance program through the churches, which I'll give it.
Which they're the basis. Church and army are the two fundings.
They get stuff done, right? Yeah. And there's a family that came from Myanmar, which anybody knows about anything about their history, they've had a real rough run.
Yeah.
But same level kind of existence where you don't know if you're walking outside to grab some fruit and you might step on a landmine.
Yeah.
You have no idea, right? And that's a good day.
Eritrea.
Right.
Is where Moses is from. Sorry.
Right. There you go. Yeah, so, and it's that kind of thing. So then these people come to Canada, and one or two of the kids have been born here, but same thing, like they have a big family or whatever, but they have like the shittiest jobs, and they get paid like peanuts, and they're just smiling and happy and such good manners.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like every day is a gift.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have no idea what that fucking existence is.
Yeah.
How are you that happy? It's like, you don't know what being sad is. You don't understand what sadness
is.
Not
at all. That's the old trick that I've learned from. So I follow a lot of guys that I want to emulate, essentially, now on
The Rock.
On Brock, The Rock. This one, he's a millionaire now. He's on track for a billionaire. His thing that he does a lot of like coaching and speaking, and charges $40,000-$50,000 to go do a speech at a conference or whatever. Yeah. There's one thing that he talks about. He's like, what are you happiest about? What are you most lucky about? What are some of the things that? Okay.
Nice to meet you. Have a good night.
Tara's out. Yeah. He's like, so what's the one thing that you're the most thankful for? And they say, my health, my car, but whatever, my lake house, whatever. He's like, well, what about waking up in the morning? That's not bad. That's cool. It happens. He's like, all right, what if I were to give you $1 million right now? Would you take it? Yeah. Well, I mean, no. What are the strings? Are there strings? And then weed those fuckers out, because if you're gonna get $1 million, just take the fucking $1 million, right? Actually, let's up the game. Let's call it $10 million.
Yeah.
If I were to give you $10 million right now, would you take it?
I'd like to say yes, but...
Just take the fucking money.
Yeah.
Take the money. What if I were to give you $10 million right now, but you'd never wake up ever again? You'd still be alive, but you wouldn't wake up in the morning.
Yeah, what's the point of the money then?
Right? So what's the value of waking up every morning?
Yeah.
It's at least $10 million, because you'd rather wake up in the morning than have the $10 million. Yeah. So right there, that's the divide, right? I would much rather... So once I kind of started to adapt that mentality, and every day that I wake up, even if I'm feeling a bit sick, a bit hungover, a bit like whatever, I don't want to go to work. Like, since I started taking that on, I've never had a really shitty day, because I've been stoked to be awake and at it, like, right? And then I've noticed a lot more things about my body, like I'm trying to correct my posture. It's probably been bad through this whole video.
Well, these chairs are kind of slippery. Well, both of us who keep slipping.
It's either the leather or the wine, but
these pants, they're nice, but they're smooth.
Starting to chafe.
Just take these off.
And then so I've been trying the little things. Like, now that I'm stoked about waking up every morning, that's what not a lot of people. Like, I'm sure there'd be a few people that would, because they wouldn't know what to do with $10 million. They'd rather just fucking be like, no, fuck this. I don't have clean water. I don't have this. I don't have those. They're actually probably more stoked to, because they can go maybe find something, I don't know, to be happy about.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I'm stoked about I want to do things to better myself slowly. One, waking up in the morning, but work on my posture, go to the gym all the time. try and like, you know, do better at work. And don't say no to certain situations. Like when you asked me to be part of this podcast,
Yeah.
I was like, for initial, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I was like, well, I'm making it nervous. I don't know, what am I going to talk about? Should I do some talking points? Should I do some research? But then like, why say no to certain, why say no to things like what this could lead to something else? Or like, you know, like don't shut things out because you might not get this chance again, right? You might not wake up tomorrow. So fucking do it while you can, right? That's kind of the
that's
the path I'm on.
Well, it's that idea of gratitude, like actually being appreciative of what you have, and that movie Yes Man that Jim Carrey did years ago.
Yeah.
Same thing. He was the
Look what that did for.
Yeah,
I think he got an MTV Popcorn Award. For
yeah,
that.
exactly right. Yeah, and that was kind of that whole idea where he was just like the negative Nancy his whole life, sort of thing like
It's
that.
not gonna get you anywhere.
And it's like allow yes into your life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay, this cheesy seminar sort of thing like that. But then he just started engaging.
Yeah.
He just started saying yes. He just started doing things.
Yeah.
He was a very interesting, really amazing person all of a sudden.
Would you want to hang out with somebody or like welcome into your circle or like try and do things like with somebody that's just always like, no, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna fly. No, why even try? Why even start? Why even bother? Like you don't need that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there is room for that. Like when it's like, hey, do you want to do meth and fly off a fucking cliff? Like, do we have parachutes?
Yeah.
And is it a placebo?
Yeah. Do I have to do the math? Because I would still jump off the cliff.
Yeah. With appropriate safety devices in check.
You know, good body of water.
I'm not going to say no now, like as a whole, but like,
there's a definite maybe on there.
Yeah. Are my friends doing it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of one of those things too where I find that out myself, like I get kind of stuck in my head and oh poor me kind of bullshit sort of stuff like that, and it's like, well no, just what I've been gifted with. You know, I'm a big person that's capable of doing things.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
helping people, making people's lives better, enriching your environment.
Yeah, and like you say, waking up in the morning, something simple like a lot of people take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, it's like running water. Like, how often do fucking people think about the water they drink?
How many Canadians don't even have running water?
Yeah,
There's a few. No, Detroit's not doing so hot these days, but you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we just all of a sudden assume. It's like, get pissed off at your phone because it starts to glitch a little bit. Oh, fucking piece of shit. This is one of the most amazing and sophisticated pieces of technology ever created. Yeah. And you want to throw it off the fucking wall?
Yeah.
Like,
outside about an OtterBox.
Yeah, well,
you can. I'll show you an inanimate object.
Yeah. So there's again you start focusing, like you said earlier, on positive things. Like if you focus on negative, you'll see negative, you'll receive negative.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. It was before the whole $10 million wake up thing when I started acknowledging that mindset, and it's shocking how accurate it is. Yeah. Zoom in on that. But it's insane. Like it's true, and like even the people that I know that are downtrodden. For granted, there's probably a lot going on behind the curtain that I don't know about with particular people. Yeah, but we all do. But like, if you put your best foot forward, chances are it's good. Like you're gonna get asked to come to X event, or you're gonna come, or like you're gonna get fired last as opposed to first guy out, right? Like, you know, because you don't want somebody that's fucking sad and mopey all the time around. Like, like I understand that everybody's got their own shit going on, so I feel privileged because I haven't been that sad a lot. But I've gone through the odd, dip and valley, but like.
But yeah, it's that idea that we create our own realities, and to a degree, like there's a lot of especially again, living in Canada, living in North America, like there's a lot of shit that you can utilize, and if you have an issue, don't be afraid to ask.
Well, especially now.
Especially now.
When we were younger, there was no real support system for any of your fucking problems.
Yeah, now it's like anybody will like throw 10 other people to help. It's like you need somebody to talk to.
There's a helpline
Let us
for
know.
That. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like when the iPhone first came out. Their big catchphrase. There was an app for that.
Yeah, totally.
You don't hear that anymore because everything's a fucking app now.
Yeah.
But
like, duh.
Yeah. Why haven't you got help sooner? There's an app for that.
Well, yeah, that's just it too. Like, even people that are making memes about that type of stuff, where it's
making millions of dollars.
Well, even like jokes about that kind of shit sort of thing too. But at the same time, it's like they're pretty real. Like along the line of, it's like you want to be good and treat me well, sort of thing like that. But it's like you want to treat me well, like. Show me your psychology bills. Show me the work you've done on yourself.
Yeah.
Do you meditate?
Yeah. The equivalent to a lip injection or a facelift.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a little mind massage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, there's so much that's within each of us that we can make use of and be better because of. Yeah, sure, splash.
Not on camera though.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll hide the label.
Yeah, you got your fingers right away, so. Not supposed to shake. You're supposed to have it held this way, and then you just rotate it as you roll up.
Yeah, no, I've been out of the biz for a while now.
Smolly, a friend of mine, said that.
It's better if you finger the outside of the bottle.
Yeah.
More intimate that way, especially with COVID being done now.
Yeah.
You'll have to just maul everything.
Yeah. COVID stopped. Dead.
Yeah, we should actually be sharing right out of the bottle. One straw. I got to admit though, speaking of that, when they did essentially end COVID, because it made the news and, it's like we're declaring an end to the pandemic.
Yeah, 7th wave, nobody gave a shit.
No, it's not, no, I'm not getting ratings anymore.
Yeah.
No. They, when it was active, say, for a lack of a better term, I would use hand sanitizer a lot more than I do now.
Yeah.
I still wash my hands frequently, especially when I come home. That was a new thing that I picked up from the pandemic. I'd come home from work and wash my hands immediately. Not as extreme as at the beginning when I'd come home from the grocery store and wash my vegetables.
Scrub.
Yeah, because there could be like a little COVID butterfly in my red peppers. No one knows where it came from. So. But like when the media, because even though I try and not drink in too much of their Kool-Aid, when they did say it was over, there was a bit of a sigh of relief from everybody, and everybody kind of winded down now. I still think doorknobs are fucking gross. That was before the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's where everything gets passed.
Trick for you. Going into a porta potty on a job site, I watched one electrician do it. He was of our height.
Yeah.
It's not for short guys. If you reach to the top of the door, there's a gap about that big at the top of the door.
Almost always, yeah.
Yeah, enough to put your hand in and pull the top instead of the handle that everybody's sweaty dick hand has touched. Yeah,
because there's never hand sanitizer, so if you have a shit, it's like everybody else's shit is on.
That's right.
Too,
yeah, the hand sanitizer's been drank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first coffee, that one was going.
They're quack. It's it's impressive how much of an effect they have, even just with their. Even if I say I don't watch the news, which I do once in a while just to see what their take is on shit.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch it, the people around you do watch it or consume it in some other way.
And
right?
Just a whisper.
Yeah. Well, have you not heard?
Yeah.
COVID's gone. Oh well, let's lick stuff now. But it's impressive the effect it has, right? Without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Subconscious levels even.
Well, it's even just that kind of relaxing part because everybody was just had that tension, that anxiety that just kind of sat there. Yeah, and they say it's like, okay, I think we're done, and everybody kind of just. I'm
gonna go get drunk in the park now.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll around in the swimming pool or something like that.
I'm still very concerned for the level of people's independent thought. When I see somebody driving in a car by themselves with a mask on, in their car by themselves, I'm concerned for that person's
mental health. But there's
not mental health. It's like they could be completely right. All lines are firing, but you fucking gave up your own thinking a long time ago. Clearly, if this is what you think is normal and correct.
Yeah. Well, some people I can see that it's just comfortable now. Like I feel kind of naked.
Well, that's the other thing. Like they I feel bad for that too.
Yeah. Like all the rest of us just walking around like dirty sluts.
Bunch
Their
of
faces
heathens.
just fucking hanging out.
Yeah. Look at that whore. Cover up your chin.
Yeah. But I mean, that was the other part, though, too, is that the hypochondriacs were really validated. Right, especially right at the start. Like, I fucking told you, see, we all told you.
Yeah.
Well, I told you because there's never usually more than one in a group.
Right. Yeah. I did all the research myself.
Yeah. CDC's been saying this for years, you fucks. This is your fault.
None of us listen. Yeah, that's too bad. But at the same time, they feel like they're right, so they could probably be having a podcast about heathens like us, though.
Yeah, totally. That's the thing that I have a little bit of frustration when I see that, and it's just like, it's not effective.
It's not worth it.
Just let it go. Because what am I going to say to them?
Well, we adopted the 5x5 rule in this household about a year ago. Are you aware of the 5x5?
Probably not the version that you're thinking of. So
it's lighting's changed as the sun goes down.
Yeah. Just move this bad boy over. Yeah.
You can tell just through the.
No, it's because I can see shadow more so on the other side of your face.
You're good. Do you look good? As long as you look good. That's what I'm concerned about. You got
a little smudge, a little schmutz.
Terry used to worry a lot about stuff, and I would never worry at all, really. I would privately, but I felt like I had to be stoic and be the man of the house, and because she worried so much, I felt like there was no room for me to worry, essentially. So I would put on the big boy pants, and then secretly I would be fairly concerned about a few things, but
Is that why you just did a defensive position of covering your vulnerable parts of your body?
No, this is because I'm trying to work on my posture, and this helps me straighten my back out. Also, my nipples got erect when I started.
Just thinking about how masculine I am.
Yeah, fuck, I look good when I thought of it. So the 5x5, if it's not going to matter in 5 years from now, then don't spend 5 minutes worrying about it now.
Yep.
Right? And that makes a lot of sense to me.
Boy, does it ever.
Yeah, because what's the point?
Yeah.
You're going to waste the now for later that possibly isn't going to come, right? So what's the point?
Yeah, well, that's kind of right in the line of Eckhart Tolle's thinking the power of now. Good book.
I tried to read it. I think I downloaded the Audible.
That's way easier.
Even though I haven't pressed play yet, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm right there. It's 100% started.
It's warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like, he reads it himself, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
But he's also, because he's so calm, it's really easy to fall asleep to it. So, but with that said,
I usually only listen to it when I'm driving.
That's terrible for me, because I fall asleep in vehicles too easily. So
on the left side or the right side of the vehicle?
Anywhere, honestly.
Not behind the wheel.
On the roof or whatever.
Yeah. Terry's the same way.
Yeah. But yeah, like, his whole thing is exactly that. It's the idea, like, the past can't be changed. The future will only give you anxiety because you can't do anything about it right now anyways. And really, whatever happens, like what I just said a moment ago, is gone.
Yeah.
That already happened. Right now is what we have. But not now, but right now. Like, now.
That's the hourglass. Have you seen the one fellow that does the hourglass video in front of a bunch of college students? This really nice ornate hourglass, flips it over. He's like, you have this much time. You don't know how much sand is up here in real life.
Yeah.
You know that this much sand has passed. You don't know how much sand is back here, so don't worry about it. Yeah. This sand's already fallen. It's in this spot right here where the sand is falling. It's the same exact thing what you said, but yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it was such an interesting way, because there's several chapters about how they kind of break down certain parts of people's lives or these issues that they have, and he kind of just, it's not like a singular mantra, but it's just like, there are things that can't be changed. Or, I mean, I'm sure you had the same thing too, like, you're thinking about a job, and like, you wake up 3 a.m. and you're like, go for a quick piss, and like, oh, I gotta do this or I gotta do that. It's like,
I bolt awake thinking about the job. It's
like, am I gonna go there right now and do something about it? No. I'm gonna sleep for at least 3 more hours if I can, so just breathe, calm the fuck down, and I'll do it later.
Well, that's why I quit running jobs.
Yeah, it's too much
because
stress.
The stress versus the pay was not
It's not proportionate.
No, the hot crazy matrix was way out of balance.
Yeah, exactly right.
It
not
was
nearly hot enough.
Yeah, it was very crazy and not hot at all. Yeah, it was in the tranny zone. It was it was terrible. The last job I was on, we were running this. It was a fairly big project, and it went to shit, quite terribly. So when I moved up to Kamloops to start my own division, of the company that I was with, they pulled me back because when I left the job that I was running, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, all these safety infractions occurred and this and that. The production, the schedule, somehow lost 5 weeks in the 2 weeks I was gone. It's amazing what you can manipulate on a spreadsheet if you're the general contractor and you want something to happen.
Yeah, I reprinted the gas chart, so you're super behind.
Yeah, you're failing miserably.
Yeah.
They essentially, long story short, called me back from Kamloops, drove back, went to this job, worked from about 5:30 to 6, not a half an hour, but the 12 and a half hours every day for not a good pay. And then it got to the point where I was not sleeping. When I would be asleep, I would dream about all the shit that I had to do at work.
Well, because you don't have time for anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all, and our relationship suffered drastically because I'd come home. I came home like angry. If I wasn't angry, I was tired. If I wasn't tired, I was sad. If I wasn't sad, I was just ready for bed.
Just sitting there.
Yeah. No, actually.
Something like catatonic.
Actually, I got to the point where I drove to work one day. I'd drive from here down Memorial Drive. Pulled over on Memorial Drive at 5:15 in the morning, so there's no one around. Puked out the door of my truck from just like too much stress building up. Never had that happen before ever.
Wow.
Felt the whole weight of the job all directly on my shoulders. Right, got to work and just fucking lost it on everybody. Not my crew. I complimented them. They're doing even fuck. I'm surprised we made it this far, guys. Went into the general contractor's trailer and just unleashed on them. Because they're all there too. Because they hate their wives and their lives. Yeah. Right? Lost it on them. I was like, I've never in my life this isn't normal. This is, and you guys normalize this. This is fucked. This is not a healthy environment. This is not good. Lost it on it. Since then, they had the utmost respect for me. 2 of them quit.
Nice.
Right?
Because they probably did the same shit.
The project manager and superintendent offered me a job with Graham Construction to be a superintendent with them, for them. They wanted to groom me because they saw what I could produce and all that shit with being in the position I was. Yeah. I thought about it. They gave, I read the pitch, I read the salary, the demands and all that. It looked decent. And then I thought, have you ever in your history of construction, have you ever met a really happy superintendent for a general contractor?
One. But that's because I was on site screaming at people though.
You were doing the shitty job.
Yeah, but he was also the kind of guy that shaking his hand, it's like, this guy knows how to work. You know how those,
the handshake meant something.
Yeah. And his hand was like a
just
fucking
an
made
oak
out
tree.
of stone. Yeah, exactly, right? So, but that was the thing, is because somebody has to be lighting a fire under people's asses on site.
Well, yeah, and because that's what we are used to, and that's what gets the job done. Yeah. And it shouldn't have to be that way.
No, but I know exactly what you're saying, and I've tried to do it the calm approach, and it's like, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, guys. If you want me to be an asshole, I can. This is your last warning, though. I'd really like for all of us to get along. Mm-hmm. And I've done that in the site trailers for site meetings where all the other foremans are there. It's just like, I need you guys to do what you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. We need to stay on deadlines or everybody's going to fall behind.
Have you ever lost your shit?
Yeah.
With people seeing it?
Yeah.
It has great effects.
It's great. Well, the thing is too is that everybody's like, the general almost every time, like ELAN jobs especially, everybody else ELAN. They're like, oh yeah, everything's good, and it's like,
you're like 9 months behind, bud.
Yeah. And the plumber's this, and the tin basher's that, and it's like,
they haven't shown up for 3 weeks, but we're good. Yeah. We're good.
And it's like, the fuck are you talking about? You said this about this building. You said this about what's going on. You said that. Yet, but and I fucking opened. It's not that I was yelling at people, but it's just like I opened up the floor properly. It's like we all have concerns on site. And then we all are here to talk about these concerns,
What's
and
the
none
point
of
of
you
these
says a fucking
meetings?
thing.
Say yes in the meeting and then go
it's
back
like,
and do fuck all.
And then when we need these things, we need you guys to fucking help us out.
Yeah.
It's like if you say that you have 3 Zoom booms on site that you want to move our material for us, so we don't have to, so doesn't fuck with the rest of your guys' equipment, then help us out.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't have enough people, hire somebody else that can drive one of these things for $25.
There was one
Like,
on this job that we went to. This past job, we had at the peak. I think there was 62 guys, night shift and day shift combined.
Yeah.
Because we were so far behind that we just had to do split shift.
Fuck.
It was terrible. The whole premise. I'd have meetings with all of our guys, and I would tell all the other trades too. I was like, listen, we all need, this job site is a fucking mess. Somebody's gonna get hurt. The production is zero because everybody's stepping over everybody's shit. Like, even if it was not garbage, everybody's material is just everywhere. We need to clean up at the end of every day. Make it easy for the night shift. Night shift clean up, make it easy for the day shift. Make your fucking bed in the morning. That's it. One small task.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, exactly. Heck of a man. So nobody was doing it. 2:30 rolls around one day, and I go in and nobody's cleaning up. They're just building stuff, whatever. But nobody's cleaning when they should.
Yeah.
I started cleaning up, and then I just find this big pile of garbage, and I took a garbage can. The wall was drywalled on one side. I'm not normally a very violent, snap show kind of guy. However, 4 people saw it. I took the garbage can that I was filling full of other people's garbage, even like Lunchables and stuff. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Took the garbage can. The walls are framed in 24-inch center. I took the garbage can and just threw, not thinking where it was going to go. I just threw the garbage can. Went right through a wall. Through the studs, perfect.
Nice.
Couldn't have done it if you tried, right?
Yeah.
And I came out the other side, and there was these 2 French guys drywalling, and they're like looking at me through the hole that I made, and looking at the garbage, and I was like, "Everybody, go home right now. Meeting 7:00 tomorrow morning." Yep, fair. And then by the time I was there at 5:30 in the morning. By the time I got to the meeting, those 2 guys told the 2 other guys that were on site, and the 4 guys that saw me. By the time I got there was 32 people on the morning shift.
Yeah.
They all were like, oh, okay. He is a bit psycho. Yeah. So you don't need to do it in front of a lot of people.
No.
And I was embarrassed, heavily embarrassed, because I used to have a temper when I was a kid. And it only took until I saw somebody with an equivalent temper, and I was like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, it's like 4-year-old fucking sprawled out on the floor.
It's tantrums. It's embarrassing.
Full on tantrum.
And I was so embarrassed, especially as a grown adult, to lose in front of my peers and my coworkers, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like you said, there is a time and place
for
it.
It took one time, and then after that, it was like, yeah, dude, and people would come up, we're cleaning now. I was like, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, what I feel sorry for your roommates. Is this how you is this a normal do you not clean up after yourself?
No, the very first job I ran was that Southgate Chevy just on McLeod.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot on that one.
About yourself?
Yeah, it was part of it, but it was that was actually a time where I actually slowed down on drinking was part of it, because it's I can't be the guy showing up hungover or late all the time.
No,
it's part of it.
No.
But same thing, I tried to be nice to people. I tried to do these things that I thought were going to be the right things. It wasn't really sort of thing like that. And then the general's on my back about stuff like cleanup in particular.
But then putting stress on you, which
and
not
it's
getting
just
paid for.
oh, you guys make 80% of the mess on the site. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, whatever, if that's the case.
So
then
that means we're doing 80% of the work?
It's we'll do more cleanups or anything like that. But it's also, I don't want to see anybody else's garbage in my bins.
Yeah.
They are for us.
Oh, I flip them.
You guys take care of your garbage.
Yeah.
We take care of ours, correct?
Yeah.
So there was almost every morning for...
Just dump the bins.
For 3 days, it just started started pulling stuff out, throwing it and it was finished floor, all kinds of stuff, eh? And I would just yard it out, and they're coffee cups that are half full flying out with all this
staining all the linoleum.
Yeah, the general comes out, and he's just like, well, was that necessary? I was like...
That's the 20% over there.
Yeah, I was like, no, Mike, it wasn't. was it?
Yeah.
He just like ducked his head and walked out.
Let me get that for you. I'll go get a mop.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? You're like, yeah, like same thing. It's like, I wonder what these people's houses look like.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, so case in point, how many people go to the Calgary Folk Fest a year? Per day, do you figure?
Thousands, you would think, even.
Oh, but yeah, I'd say at least 500,000 maybe in and out throughout the course of a full Saturday. 5,000? 5,000?
5,000?
Did I say 500,000?
Yeah, I was just like,
No.
that's like half the city.
No.
It's a
no.
good show. It's not that
No,
good. But yeah, about 5,000
About
people.
5,000
Yeah.
in this small area with a bank of porta potties.
Yeah.
What do you figure? There's about 20 porta potties there? Maybe 30?
Yeah, they'd have to be cleaned twice a day, you'd think, at minimum.
Based on the sticker inside of the porta potty that says this toilet is good for 10 people throughout the course of one working week for 8 hours a day, whatever the math works out to.
Yeah.
You go to the Calgary Folk Fest with 5,000 people. Has there ever been a concert with 500,000 people?
Yeah, 200,000 for sure in Japan.
Okay. What's Glastonbury? There's probably about 100,000 there.
Yeah. Wacken in Germany is like 40,000 people.
Okay, so 5,000, regardless.
Yeah, so.
I digress. Every time I've gone to the bathroom at the Calgary Folk Fest, the porta potties they look like they were just delivered.
Yeah.
Immaculate, right?
Yeah.
There's an air freshener that someone brought from home, maybe like a sage burning in the corner, and like clean, well kept.
Yeah, a sign that says namaste.
Yeah. Thank you. Right? Here's my donation. Right? And then there's a job site with 40 people, maybe 30 people, with like 6 porta potties, and they're all just absolute, like, actual health risks.
Yeah. For real they are.
Is it so?
No, the same thing in music festivals. I went to a handful of music festivals over the years, and they're not exactly the same thing. Like, you don't go into those things and they're not smelling fresh, or they're not.
It's just a mutual respect.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Like there's an immaculate job of the cleaning and maintenance, and thousands of people out partying, like all day, all night. For
Not standing on the seat.
4 days. There isn't a single fucking piece of trash that isn't in the garbage, and if it is, somebody immediately picks down and holds on to it until they see a trash can, or
chances are
takes
like
it back to their
flew out of
site.
somebody's pocket.
Yeah, it was an
unbeknownst
accident.
to them.
Yeah, right. So
Burning Man's a great example of that. I had a friend go there, and she got way too intoxicated, a little bit overboard, I believe. But there's this whole code with everybody in the desert. You don't give anything to the desert that you can't bring back with you and whatnot.
Yeah.
So she had to puke. It would be completely frowned upon apparently by all the Burning Men society. So she puked in her sleeve, went back to her tent or her trailer, and then put it in like a bag, and then like changed her shirt, and then went back out.
she's a fucking trooper, good
Right,
for her.
because she didn't want to like sully or like soil the sacred ground that is Black Rock or whatever they call the place, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to bring any life or anything.
Well, I don't know, but like they all have such an insane respect for that place. They probably get up to about 100,000 people there.
Oh yeah, that's a huge party out there.
Well, Black Rock City is what they call it when they make it.
Yeah.
And then the aerial footage, that place, and the way they've designed it, it's like a clock, I believe, and like your camp zone is like 12:30 or 4:18, right? Because it's so vast, right?
Yeah.
And then when they're gone, not like there's been a few music festivals where it's just like a bit of mayhem, and then there's like the 58 people that stay behind and pick up everybody's cups and cigarette packs and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, like there's zero sign that there was anybody there, like a day after everybody leaves.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
That shit is fucking cool.
Yeah, well orchestrated. It's a well-oiled machine, that thing.
Yeah, but that's the other part though too, is a lot of people that do that kind of stuff are the respectful of themselves, each other, of nature kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You go to...
Started out as like a camping, what is it? Leave only footprints and take only photographs.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite nice. No, you don't want to snap too hard. There's
You
microorganisms in your hands you might be killing.
The dust mite had a whole lot of life left in him.
But I mean, like we said earlier, alcohol is the cause of almost all problems.
Absolutely.
You go to nightclubs, you go to bars, you go to, well, I guess mostly because country music is mostly about alcohol, it's not about drugs or whatever. Tons of fucking fights, tons of mess, tons of destruction. Yeah, you go to places where people are doing tons of drugs. Everything is serene now.
Yeah, a lot of blankets.
Yeah.
A lot of hugs.
Yeah.
A lot of hula hoops.
Yeah, which is fucking impressive.
Yeah.
I had no idea
that's like the original, like, keep 6 feet away from me.
Yeah,
totally. They saw it coming.
Yeah.
Especially the poi ball dancers. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are fucking impressive. Although, when I was at Astral Harvest, not last time, but 2 times ago, and there's a guy that always gets up with these, like, really big, fancy looking, like, well lit up weapons and stuff like that, eh? And he gets there with his Jedi garb sort of thing like that, and he's dancing around with his lightsaber. And I'm tripping a bit. I'm dancing, and having a good time. And he does like a flip or whatever, and then he throws his lightsaber, and it goes out like 30 feet into the crowd and comes back out into his hand. And it blew my fucking mind. And I thought about it after. It's like I just let it sit there. It's like it was on a string.
Right, and it was probably maybe like 6 feet.
It was. Probably not 30, but either way, it was just like.
And it was a yo-yo.
Yeah, there was a guy standing in the corner. I was just watching.
I was at 7-Eleven, I think.
But it's just it's that kind of thing where everybody's so blown away and everybody's so appreciative about that kind of stuff.
They gave him the space to do it too, probably, right?
Yeah, well, he was actually on the stage, like beside the DJs and stuff like that. So like, and that's the other thing. They have like those performers that get up and do their thing, and then everybody's thankful, and then they go off to the side to talk to the DJs or the performers or anything like that, because they have areas for that kind of stuff like that sort of thing too. But it's like
it's all about love too, though, and appreciation.
Yeah, because that's what it is. Because it's that type of person that goes to those things. Is that they don't want controversy. They don't want damage or destruction. They want to just have a good time. Like even this guy that's walking in with these huge looking, gnarly looking weapons. It's like,
get in here, Frank.
Yeah. But it's like, he's not using those for violence at all.
Well, in the case of one I went to, they stopped doing it. What was it called? Not Rock the Bells. That's in New York. It was something block party.
Sounds like something in Boston.
It was down at the old barracks downtown.
Okay.
Where they have that Millennium Park, I believe it's called, where the skate park is. And
yeah.
It was something block party. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. And I went, it was raining, and I was also not on planet Earth. And found an umbrella on the ground, and it was pouring rain. But there was a bunch of DJs, and everybody was having a really great time. So I was in line, waiting. And I was like watching it on the ground so I wouldn't step on ants and whatnot, right? So I was like being very aware of my surroundings. Get to the front, and Buddy in a big yellow and black security jacket, Paul Blart 2.0 was like, you can't bring that in here. And I was like, whoa. And I thought I had everything fairly well stashed.
Yeah.
Right? And how did you see it? And what you got there? And I was like, oh, Mary Poppins here. She'll be fine. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on her. And he's like, you can't have that in here. And I was like, actually? And he's like, yeah, it could be construed as a weapon. And he wouldn't let me bring an umbrella into a festival when it was pouring rain.
Wow.
Yeah. But it wasn't the same style. It was in the middle of a city. So right there, there's no trees to calm people down. There's no, and it was full of shitheads and like.
Right.
But it was 70, maybe 80% festival goers, people that like were there to respect each other and whatnot, people that brought umbrellas to a fucking festival because like, hey, this is a safe space.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually have a really good dance I choreographed.
Yeah. Spun around and Cindy's part of it, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and then, but it's the 10-20% that just ruin it for everybody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when they ruin it, they fucking ruin it.
Yeah.
It's the worst part, right?
Well, take, when was the last Woodstock that really didn't go off that well? Was it the 98? Or I think it was 98?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a bit of a bad vibe to it.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty cool.
Yeah, because it was, or was it 2000 even? Because they were trying to do the Millennium Turn because everybody was doing their Y2K shit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was around that time.
Yeah, that area. But yeah, it's again, more often than not, it's something that's alcohol becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's been to any kind of court or traffic court or anything, it's like 99% of the world's problems come from alcohol.
Yeah.
But you can't take it away from people because it causes even worse problems.
Well, and there's way too much money being made from it.
Yeah.
Well, what's the one, Shambhala, you're not allowed music. Or you're not allowed music. You're not allowed. I don't call that shit music. In my day, it was a band, you know. No, you're not allowed alcohol anywhere on the festival grounds.
Yeah.
Right? With a lot of concerts and festivals, it's like that.
Yeah. Especially, like, you can sneak shit in, but it's like, honestly, guys, we don't care. Just don't bring glass.
Yeah.
That's usually the big thing. It's like
no 60-pounders of Jack Daniels with it.
Yeah, you don't need to bottle somebody with a fucking
unless they really deserved it.
Yeah.
No, it's it's a shame really, because alcohol's been the one thing that's been legal for. Well, they tried with prohibition.
Since prohibition, yeah.
Yeah. Well, even before then, I guess before was it? It's not that it was illegal before prohibition. It's not that it was legal. Was it legal?
Oh yeah.
It was just a thing.
Well, it was just an existence of,
it was there.
Of humanity.
It was like salvia when it came out. It wasn't illegal yet, but you knew you weren't supposed to smoke it.
Yeah. You can get it at some certain head shops and stuff, and it's like, well,
20 times? I don't know, bud.
Yeah, what is this going to do to me? Just smoke it like it's weed.
Yeah.
Boy, did I ever get fucking
no.
Another dimension on that.
That was tough. This was the worst. What was that? About 2.5 minutes? Yeah. That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was an interesting, in my head, or what I thought I was saying was like, what was that? What was I taking? What happened? Apparently all I said was, what? What?
For 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you came to and you felt kind of burnt out for a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, and it hit me to the point where I was completely disassociated from my body.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
It was just kind of this, everything just kind of had this fuzzy texture.
I had like a thick tingle.
And
that's not...
I could taste colors and hear shapes and...
I was with my 3 best friends at this house that my buddy bought when we were too young to live by ourselves. I smoked it, fell into the couch.
As one does.
Right? And I became one with the couch.
Yeah.
So I thought they couldn't see me. And then I started looking around and I was like, no, can't be here right now. So I managed to get up through the really thick static that was the air.
Yeah.
I tried to walk into the kitchen, but my body was too big to get through the passage, like the doorway. Yeah. So I kept trying to maneuver a way to get through the kitchen door until it wore off. So I was doing this weird worm dance. You want another one? No, man.
Where did I just go?
Yeah, about 8 feet.
Yeah. No, that was the same thing for me. Of course, smoking. It's nice big comfy couch behind you, big glass table in front of you. As it always happens.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Yeah. You might have been on the couch with me.
But yeah, same thing. It first hits you and everything's apparently, same thing. I was getting sucked into the couch, so I tried standing up.
No, fuck this.
When I did it, just the only thing I could see was darkness, and then my legs were 80-foot long bamboo. And it just whoa, like that. I kind of just crawled into the couch on purpose after that.
Yeah, for a safe haven.
Yeah, but it felt like it took half an hour to turn around and crawl into the couch. But it's not that I knew that.
Well, 80 feet's a long fall.
Well, and I didn't know that was the couch. It just, I knew previously something was safe behind me.
Yeah.
And that was honestly the only thing was safety. Because leaning forward felt dangerous, leaning backwards felt safe.
Yeah.
But it's I couldn't even lean backward because it's
I
didn't have a body to fall back with, so it was so weird to, it was just so disassociating.
Yeah. And that was really easy to get.
Yeah.
It was at all the head shops.
So easy.
Right?
Yeah.
I was 16, I think, when I bought it. Maybe 17, 18. But no ID.
Yeah. And even the guys were just have you tried this out before?
Yeah. It was literally on the counter. Yeah. I went and bought a bong and some rolling papers from the local head shop in Ottawa. Yeah. Big trip to the city. Right? The boys left Almont, went to Ottawa. It was called, what was it? Not The Friendly Stranger? Maybe The Friendly Stranger? Yeah, The Friendly Stranger. That was the name. And the dude had pictures. He had like a photo album when you walk in. And he was with, like Cheech and Chong, Jerry Garcia, like all the boys. And they would go at 4:20 every day. He would go out behind his shop and smoke a joint. And so like we'd try and time our trips from the city, or from the small town to the city, so maybe we can smoke a joint with the owner. And we were like kids, so he's like, absolutely, fucking, why are you here?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, he knows our name.
Yeah.
That's what he called us last time.
I'm tall enough to be 18.
Yeah. And there was like in normal convenience stores, there's like Charleston Chews and like O. Henry's, and in his store it was salvia. And we were like, yeah, I'll just fucking throw that into the bag. It's only like, what, I don't even remember what it cost. But
$10 or something.
$10 got like everyone high for enough that you didn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shot off to the fucking moon, came back, and it's like, oh. And I was like, that was fucked up, but...
Another one?
Yeah, that's the thing, it's like, maybe not that same day, but it's like, everybody kind of chills out and you start talking, but I was like, it's a pretty fucking good time. Yeah, it was a good time.
There's a lot left.
And all of a sudden everybody just kind of like stiffens up again. Well, I don't know, I got stuff to do tomorrow. So.
You go first. Yeah, you don't see it too often anymore.
No, I think that's one of those ones where it probably scared the shit out of some people.
I think the government was probably like, should we try and make this illegal, or should we just let them figure it out on their own?
Yeah, it's bad enough that well, they say the same thing with DMT. Not ayahuasca, but the actual like more purified DMT.
Yeah.
Where it's like a fucking rocket ship into like the center of the galaxy sort of thing, and it's 10 to 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, I've been offered it, never done it.
I've kind of wondered about that too, because it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of like the idea of ego death. It kind of just like moving past that sort of.
A few of my closest friends have done it more than once, and they've all had the same outcome. And one of my best friends, since coming out of it, because he took enough to get to the pretty spiritual spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're all good.
You go on backup reserve?
Oh, maybe I'm not good.
You want to plug that in?
Whatever.
Can you? Do we still look good?
We're still looking sharp.
Yeah, we look good.
Oh yeah.
We look good. More pronounced. More pronounced that way. Nice. The one guy came out when he was in it. So when a lot of people are in it, a lot of them have all seen the same spiritual light being that is essentially, without doing it, because I've never done it. Have you done it?
No.
So you would be on the same level as I have, that you can't, the whole being is made up of love, right?
Yeah.
And it's but I can't comprehend it because I wasn't there to see it. But they said like when they came out of it, like everything is love. The whole world revolves around like either a lack of love or too much love or like just like then they all say kind of the same, maybe not quite but with the same words, but like they're on the same wavelength, which is pretty impressive. That and like even people they did studies where like they'll give this guy a bunch and then they give that guy a bunch on like the other side of the world where they've never had any contact, and they'll report both seeing the same being essentially.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty neat to be like that. I'd be curious to meet her. Him, they.
Yeah. Zeezer.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, that's well. It's I can understand the level of lack of words for it. As opposed to similar like when you've done mushrooms or you've done acid and you try to explain to the experience to somebody that's only ever drank. It's like, well, I don't have the words to explain this to you.
No, not at all. There's no. That's the ultimate apples to oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but it's like apples to green paint, kind of.
Yeah. One's actually not that bad for you.
But and that's always the funny thing too, because I mean, we grew up in the age where it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna smoke a joint, you're gonna fucking kill your best friend.
Yeah.
You're gonna do acid, you're gonna fucking steal a bus and drive through a playground or some sort of thing like that.
Until you talk to people that have done it.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, you do it.
Or until you do it yourself.
Yeah, it's like all these stories and lies that you keep hearing about, and then you start doing these things. It's like, actually, now that we're allowed to do some level of studies on this, it's actually really good for PTSD. It's good for Alzheimer's. It's good for like all of these other.
Well, what did
things
they just? They just came out with the first legal. I believe it was the first legal prescription for psilocybin in Quebec. Was the first province to come out with it, right? What, about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, impressive. Go Quebec.
Yeah.
Viva. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because it's I understand like some of the ancient medicines and stuff like that. Some of that's
what's all the roots. A lot of the roots. So what's the main root that makes like MDMA and all that stuff? It's sassafras.
Yeah.
There's a root, so it's all made in labs now, right? It's all synthetic shit. But the original shit was all from sassafras, and it was then like the natives would just kind of chew on that root or the bark or whatever. There's a certain tree that it comes from that it
so it gives you just this light feeling of
euphoria. But then if you synthesize it and put it into a gel cap and with 19 bottles of water and some heavy bass drops.
I was gonna say, gotta get lit some boots and cats. And
Boots and cats. You're gonna have a good time. Or chew on bark in a desert. That's also cool.
Yeah, same thing. But
I'd sign up for both.
Yeah, and that's just it. Well, thing is, if you're having a shitty day, you don't do psychedelics.
No.
Right.
You need to be going into that with a long runway.
Yeah. And that's the other part that people seem to think. It's like, well, you can drink and feel better, or do these other drugs and feel better, sort of thing, or at least it just lets you care less about some other shit. It's like, if you want to deal with your shit instead of ignore it, do psychedelics.
Yeah, with the people that you have problems with. If they're close to you, if they're like your actual like high school bullies or enemies, I wouldn't recommend it. But like, if it's a loved one, do it together in the bush. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have the best fucking campfire you've ever seen.
Yeah. You'll hug a tree for like most of it, but like, okay, so me and my buddy, best friend growing up, he just came out for a visit, him and his wife. Outstanding two humans. We were like the inseparable best friends growing up. I got him into working in kitchens. We both washed dishes for a while together. We would do everything we would do together. Right? We'd get our paychecks. We'd put them together. We'd split them in half.
Nice.
We'd buy whatever as much shrooms as we could, and then we'd buy the rest on weed, and then we'd go play basketball with the boys at the elementary schools. But we'd all bring our cars around. Everybody point their headlights in and play basketball till like 3 a.m. But me and him, we would split like a fair amount of shrooms, and then once it started kicking, like we'd be playing ball the whole time, and then like, okay, see you later. And like I said earlier, 38-second drive in any direction from town, you're in the bush.
Which you're glad it's that far, because boy oh boy, that's as much driving as I could do.
Well, we were already on the outskirts,
right?
And we didn't bring our cars, right?
Yeah.
So we walked, and
which is better anyway.
That's the way, yeah. So we it started to kick in. We're like, okay, have fun, see you later. And like all the boys that we hung out with, they knew that like all of it, Jamie, Maddie, their family.
Yeah.
See you later. See you Monday.
Yeah. We saw your pupils go like this.
Yeah. Bon voyage. And so we would just walk into the bush, and we would just see that like and experience them like and just be right there with nature. And we would have to like the Japanese charge. It's like a spa that they do, and it's tree bathing.
Okay. Yeah.
And you go and like it's sad, but it's like a therapy style that they have, and you just go and bathe in the essence of trees because they're calming. They've been there for a while. They know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Right, but like on shrooms, they're there. And so we were walking. So we did a full tour, which was like possibly a full marathon.
Yeah.
In shroom time, but it was probably about 1.5 kilometers because we were like in and out of valleys and like.
Oh yeah, like actual circuit's only 1.5 kilometers, but you walked 30 kilometers.
Yeah, sidestep and then bog for a while, lost a shoe.
Yeah.
And then we came back from the outside of town. There's the one main grocery store in Almont, and there was one big tree in front of it. Everything else got wiped out for development and whatnot.
Yeah.
This big tree was there. It was like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And this was like, there was no wind. We can both vouch for it. Even like we're coming down, so like it's not like there was no wind. There was no. I'll go to my grave. This is for sure. We both walked past the tree and we're like, that's a good tree. And then we both walked past, and we're like, hang on a second. And we turn around like, I bet you nobody gives this tree enough respect and love. This tree managed to hang out, lost all of his homies. Everything got built around it. This tree managed to thrive amongst all this bullshit by himself, herself, itself.
Yeah.
This tree probably does not get the respect it deserves. So we both just hug the tree. Hang in there, tree. You're doing a great job. See you later, bud. Walk away. We're like 10 steps away. The whole tree shivers. Like all the leaves rustled in the wind. There was no wind at all.
Huh.
Yeah, and we turn around and we're like, did you... And he was like, I was like, yeah, man, that was real. And then we both looked at the tree and we're just like, yeah, bud. And then we just walked in like,
yeah.
It was a very like, hair standing up on end right now.
Yeah.
Like it was a very powerful moment, and like I don't know if it was fluke or if like.
Or maybe the tree's just like, whoa, those guys give me the
You fucking weirdos, get away! I never thought about that take.
I gotta shake it off. Ooh.
You gotta call me buddy. You got a restraining order from a maple. Oh, I never thought about that angle. This whole time I thought I was really bonding, actually. It was a creepy uncle bond, actually.
It touched me in my bad places.
Yeah, my mommy daddy buttons.
But I know exactly what you're saying.
It was pretty impressive.
Well, especially when you're doing, like, you start feeling, no, I gotta quit it. Well, what a race, we're almost there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was,
Do it properly.
you take mushrooms or whatever inside the house or whatever, and you start feeling it, and it's like,
Just feel a bit cagey.
we just, like, yeah, it's like, we need to go outside.
A bit cagey.
What I always feel is like your tendrils, they kind of just reach out of your body in certain different ways, and it's
Searching
like
for energy.
inside of a house they kind of just, they don't go anywhere, but when you go outside, yeah, they reach onto every tree, every bug, every bird, every like you don't even necessarily feel them, but it's like you sense way more when you're outside. You feel more.
The vibes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly, because everything's lives on its own vibration. Like
Yes.
same idea, like that's why the hand doesn't go through here, is because we're on
They're on different
slightly different vibrations.
BPMs,
right?
if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, it goes all the way down to string theory if you want to go the physics way, but at the same time, though, too, it's like there's also the psychedelic way of looking at certain things too, where there's chemical gateways that we can open with our minds because of these few drugs that we can take, and even calling them drugs isn't right. Like it's the thing too. Like even younger, like I took them to get fucked up in parties or anything like that, and it's like I have more respect for the
You
plants
learn
now.
to respect them, though.
Yeah.
I don't take near the
dosage.
No, but I'm glad I did the amount that I
Yeah.
did to find out what their capabilities were.
Yeah.
Right, and now I know enough, and I respect them. Right, and
Yeah.
now I just say hi to them instead of like just kidnapping them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what they say. Like a forest or even your backyard, the entire thing is interconnected with mycelium. So the basic forms of fungus, which is like the nervous system of the earth, basically.
Yes, I was just telling that story today to Eamon about the mycelium. Did you hear? I believe it was Tokyo. The city planners took mycelium, a couple of like a group of spores.
Yeah.
They plotted out. This was years ago. They plotted out all the subway stops on a big board with sugar water or oats or something like that, or
Some sort of food for
something that the mycelium was like a treat for them. Essentially, they figured. Each node of the food was a stop on their subway system to scale.
Okay.
And they put all the mycelium down at the end, and then they let the mycelium go. And for the first little while, they spawned out in a general, archaic, barbaric, just let's go see what's out there.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of days, it organized itself into the most efficient pattern to get from each node from the hub. and it was the most efficient way for all these nodes to be connected, which were all the subway stops. And this city in Japan changed all of their subway stops, and it made all of their and it made everything more efficient
and faster.
And they learned from mycelium to how, and they it must have taken millions of dollars and probably a decade at least to reconstruct everything. But now they're way ahead, learning from mycelium.
Fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah,
giving me goosebumps,
dude. Like for the one guy to be like at the city hall, he's like, "Okay, wait.
You've been drinking coffee, sir.
Here we are. I need oats, sugar water, and a paper clip. Trust me, bro."
But it's so true. I mean, we're finally getting into that mentality where we're looking back at nature instead of trying to think that we're above nature.
It's so much smarter.
Well, it had billions of years to figure shit out.
You might think that with all the crazy weather going on right now, you might think maybe Mother Nature's pissed off. Call me crazy. She might be upset.
You're fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah. But that's it. There's some weird stuff happening.
Yeah. Well, strange things are on the hats at the Circle K.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, too, strange compared to what, though? I mean, there's some shit that's going on, and then there's always weather cycles, but we've only really tracked weather effectively for 150 years tops.
So, quoting something off of John Oliver, love that guy.
He's pretty awesome.
He's got a lot of good stuff. The last week's episode was about, I think it was about weather, and California, just doing an impeccable job with their water management systems.
Yeah. Well, they get to the almonds, right?
Almonds, avocados.
Yeah.
Pistachios.
Yeah. Most inefficient fucking things to grow in a desert.
Terrible.
Whatever.
So there, since there was, I think it was like 430 AD was the first recorded drought. I think that's around the time, and the fact that it was recorded in 430 AD, the guy that recorded it was like, "We're gonna write this down." Yeah. There hasn't been a lot of wet lately.
It seems important.
Someone needs to know this. So it's been the worst drought now in California and the surrounding area since 430 AD, which is pretty impressive that there was even written documents back then, especially about the weather climate and system, right?
Totally, yeah.
So since Jesus, essentially, it's been the worst it's ever been. Which, granted, a lot of the stuff's on 100-year cycles.
Yeah.
That I can get behind.
Yeah.
Ice ages, slightly more than 100 years, by, to the 10th power-ish.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe more so. But, that stuff I can get behind as well. People, the receding glaciers and whatnot, that happens.
Yeah.
We might, we've got something to do with it.
For sure we do, but we're also technically still in an ice age because there's ice on the planet.
Yeah.
And they figure that when the dinosaurs were around, there was almost double the CO2 we have right now.
That's why they're so big.
Yeah, well, that's why the plants were so big too. Everything.
The thing was trying to suck it all in.
Well, and vegetation grew so much better because that's the thing. Trees don't actually suck anything out of the ground.
No,
the ground is just substrate for to hold the roots in.
Yeah.
It's 99% CO2.
Yeah.
Well, 80% with all the water.
With the water's a pretty big factor.
But it's basically two basic chemicals make a tree.
Yeah, impressive. Carbon being the biggest one.
Yeah, it's unfucking believable.
Yeah, it's impressive. What did I think it was Iceland or Sweden? They made a carbon capturing machine, and they said if there was, I think it was if they made 2,000 of them and put them across the eastern seaboard, they would put it back to carbon neutrality. Right, but
who's gonna pay for it though?
Yeah. Take up too much real estate. Yeah. There's a dealership there, so sorry.
We need to move those Hondas.
Yeah, it's Maserati, so fuck up.
Well, the same thing in people that go visit Beijing and stuff, like they almost stopped the Olympics from being there because part of it.
Because just everyone choking out.
Yeah, but even people that would go there, well, I know people that went there for Chinese medicine and acupuncture and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'd be out, and it's a nice sunny day or anything like that. And it's like, oh yeah, we got a pretty good tan. And they'd go have a shower, and it'd all wash off. Because it was mostly like soot and shit that came out of the air.
They were the OG mask wearers.
Oh, yeah. They had a reason to. So.
Yeah. They made it fashion before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking mask hipsters.
Yeah. They ate the pizza for sure. You love bathroom breaks in these things?
Oh, yeah, we are. It's probably a good idea.
Not bad. What's the runtime on these cameras?
Well, they're plugged in, so I think this one's got 448 minutes left.
That's not bad.
This one I think goes for about 4 hours. So
I'll probably
240 minutes.
I'll probably fall asleep right before.
Well, we're already 2 hours and 20 minutes in.
It's an absolute pleasure talking with you. I can do this all night.
I know, that's the thing too. It's like, well, I got a sip of wine left.
Yeah.
Just thinking, it's like, well, we kind of touched on the softness and the woke culture and stuff like that.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking while I was pissing for a long time.
Yeah.
We didn't really hit many, earth-shattering revelations or factually based discoveries.
Well, that's actually was going to be my question about the whole woke thing. Because I asked this in my last podcast because it was kind of an epiphany when I thought about it, and I'm sure parallel thinking happens. But do you feel that the woke movement is the answer to the so-called patriarchy?
Patriarchy, meaning, just so I got the right context.
Well, basically,
like from our upbringing.
No, well, more so that this will be kind of more the feminist way of looking at things, I suppose. But it's the patriarchy is the idea is that men have basically run the world.
Okay, yeah.
And now because women can't directly take over the power, they're doing it through with trying to change minds instead of take power.
Yeah. Okay, fair. The woke movement, yeah. That's a tender subject, and here's why: because of said movement and the patriarchy, I think, and a lot of people think that there's toxic masculinity. A lot of people get toxic masculinity confused with just straight up masculinity. A lot of people think that masculinity is the problem. This is obviously my perception of it.
I think the lack of masculinity is the problem.
That's what I think is toxic.
Yeah.
That's what and the people that think that masculinity is toxic obviously have been jaded through or from somebody that, granted, maybe had toxic, maybe was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You can be masculine, and you can be a he, you can be a him, without being a fucking piece of shit, right? It goes back to religion.
Yeah.
Just don't be a piece of shit, and you'll get into heaven. Don't be a piece of shit, and you can be a fucking man.
Yeah.
Right? What why
is that gender specific?
Yeah. I have met more toxic masculine women than I have men.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, without them being a man, I've met a lot more aggressive women.
Yeah.
Trying to prove something that is completely unnecessary. Than granted, I try and not surround myself with, because you can tell from about 8 truck nuts away if they're pieces of shit or not, right?
Yeah.
And I'd rather you get what you give. Go back to the universe, right?
Yeah.
This is a good culmination. There's if all you're doing is again to the girls, you get what you give. The women that are concerned and that are holding signs at rallies saying that all masculinity is toxic and whatnot, I hope that they realize and understand that it's not all masculinity, because the lack of masculinity is causing the woke movement, is causing the essentially the weakness. A lot of the older generation think that we should have another war.
Yeah.
To toughen the fuck up.
Well, that's why I said I actually had that exact thought when the whole freedom convoy came to a grinding halt, and then the very next day, Russia, Ukraine, World War III, sort of stuff like that. I was like, ugh, and I kind of got thrown off by the whole propaganda thing. That was
changed the channel.
It was disgusting. But then I thought about the whole thing. It's just like, okay, there'll be a horrendous amount of life lost that that's not good for anybody. There'll be generational trauma that our great grandkids will have to deal with. But at the same time, it's like,
which has already been going on though.
Because we're still dealing with shit that happened in the 40s.
Yeah. Because
of our grandparents, because they put that onto their kids and they didn't.
We were talking about that today as well. There's no Japantown. There's Chinatown, no Japantown.
Well, exactly.
Because you can't put them in a box. You can't put them in a certain specified portion of the city.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or Little Italy or whatever. That's totally fine. But
yeah. They were never ostracized. They were like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they might have been. If you fucked up the past.
Well, it's because the Nazis took them over too. So.
I guess, yeah. They have their own section.
But I mean, it's kind of that whole sort of thing too. And it's like, it would almost be a good idea to have another war. And it's like, I can't say it would be, but it's like, it would drive innovation.
But that's the
thing. It would focus people on things that matter. It would fucking put a lot of people to work. It would get a lot of shit done. It would.
There's a problem with having another war now, though. Boots on the ground war. I hate that term. I can't believe I just said it.
Yeah.
Being Ukraine, they didn't have the like all the next generation stuff to go to war with. They trained a lot of farmers and citizens and civilians.
Yeah.
And anybody that had a gun, you were allowed to basically take up arms and protect your land, right? But now if you were to go to war, it's all from a box.
Yeah.
So even if you did have a war now, it would still, you're not going to, most of it is all drone warfare, right? And there's drones as small as flies now to do the recon.
Yeah.
And then there's drones as big enough as this house to kill all the flies, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not gonna fix anything. It's gonna make shit worse. It's gonna piss a lot more people off. And so even if you were to have a World War II, maybe, but if you have a World War III, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're just gonna kill a bunch of fucking innocent people.
No, I think what we should do is have like a Battle of Reading.
I like the old idea of
swords and shields.
Yes.
If you're that mad at somebody, look them in the eye and fucking.
Or the boys at the table go fight.
Yeah.
Right? You're the ones that fucking sign the all this stuff. You go, or like all the Americans that are like gun heavy. That this is my fucking whatever 5th or 2nd or 8th right or whatever it is for them. When they wrote those rules, there was muskets.
Yeah.
When they wrote the amendments, it was muskets, where it took the amount of time to take over an elementary school as it would to reload your fucking musket.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't meant for an AR-15 or like anything with a banana. There were no banana clips at the time of when those were all written.
Yeah.
And they got misconstrued somewhere along the way, and people felt power behind that, which, fair enough. You're allowed to be proud. You're allowed to be patriotic, and right on. I kind of like the idea of having a gun now. I don't have one, and I won't get one. I might. I don't know. But, like, the way shit's going might not be the worst idea to have one in case shit happens. What I have is a bomb shelter. Not a bomb shelter. I have a pantry in the basement full of food.
Yeah.
I've got about a month's supply. My hot water tank will give me however long, once it's not hot anymore. That's enough water to survive on if everything goes down. I got enough to keep going for, I'm not like prepping, but I'm not leaving it all to chance.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need a gun because that's just going to fuck shit up. And it'll cause more of the problems that are being televised.
Yeah.
Right? But like, is that what it's coming to? Because the more woke people are getting, quote unquote, the softer people are getting, and the more weird, bad shit is happening. Is there a correlation, or is it just like bad parenting, or is it like who?
Well, in the hypocrisy of a lot of it. And it's like we want everybody to be free and open as possible, but if you're not, we're going to fucking persecute you and dox you and fucking ruin your life.
Yeah.
You know, like Antifa. anti-fascism.
Yeah.
Used fucking incredibly fascist tactics to try to get their shit across.
That's all like, yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing? And not only that, you're talking about the amendments of the states. The word amendment means to change.
Yeah, we tried to fix it. Yeah.
You know, so it's like you can continue to amend.
Because they wrote it, and then they realized this doesn't quite apply. Let's amend it a little. Yeah, exactly.
Button this up.
Maybe there should be another one.
Yeah.
You're allowed all the guns you want, but just one shot at a time. Or maybe just not in schools. But that's not going to work, obviously.
Yeah, well, depending on who you talk to as well. It's just like, well, why the fuck does anybody ever need to own a pistol?
No.
And it's like, well, free market capitalism, people are allowed to make shit so they can...
They look cool.
They look cool, it's fun to go to a gun range and stuff like that, but I'm not bringing one of those fucking things home.
No.
You know, like, I have no need for it. Again, my privilege is sticking out here, I guess, because I'm a large person that can take care of himself.
Yeah. Well, and trained assassin, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. Right. I'm not a 5'0" woman that, you know, is
but then
super
again,
timid and 90 pounds.
I wouldn't want all the incapable to protect themselves people to have a gun to make them feel better, to make everything safe.
Yeah.
That's backwards thinking. If you don't feel safe, here, take this with you. This will make everything okay.
Yeah, this will leave the playing field.
Right?
No, it doesn't.
No, there's a big that it can't be even fully discussed or solved in one conversation, because there's way too many. It's not even loose ends; they're frayed ends that have no way of re-raveling them because they're so fucking far gone.
Well, and there's so many differing opinions on it. It's like, well, this because of that, and this because of that.
And that's, again, where with the woke culture and all that shit, a lot of people have lost the grasp on the idea that we can still not agree and be friends.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't fully agree with what I have to fucking think and say and what I post? Then fuck you, unfriend. And then it started with unfriending on social media, and then they started unfriending in real life, and then they started fucking rallying against each other because you don't fucking follow the same views that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not gonna. But you can still not have the same views, but still come to like a. You don't have to be shitheads.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the other part too, because of the ease of connectivity and stuff. That it's so. Well, here come some more buzzwords. Echo chambers. You can be reinforced with any opinion you want if you look hard enough. Doesn't matter how fringe your opinion seems.
Yeah.
You're not the only one that has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the other part, is you can always find a community somewhere, and it's just like if you get enough of those people together.
In their basements.
Yeah. But I mean, Russell Peters made that joke years ago about how it's like, oh yeah, like because it was not too long after 9/11 sort of thing like that, and everybody's like, oh yeah, everybody's pointing these cameras at these people going in the Middle East, whatever, and they're freaking out. They've got their AKs in the air, and they're shooting stuff off. And it's like, you take exactly that person, but the guy that lives in Alabama, like, to speak English. What's he going to be saying? Yeah, we're going to blow up the whole goddamn world.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. But he's got an American flag.
Yeah. Right? Reddest neck you've ever fucking seen.
Yeah. No, yeah. And so then it also goes, so if you can find people that you get along with, you can very much more easily find people that you don't get along with. And if you feel like you have a voice to put that forward, you can piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Or you can even just piss yourself off more than anything.
Yeah.
Trying to fight with a blank face on the internet, or like just with an idea.
Yeah. I'll show them. I'll fix the internet right now.
If you don't like it, move on, man. Go plant a garden. Go like do something else that like blossoms your mind instead of fucking just you're bringing yourself down. That's what most of it is. I think it's the ease of negativity that is bringing a lot of people down, and it's making it easier for people. It's the instant satisfaction and gratification society that we're in now too.
Little dopamine shots.
All the dots, all the dings, all the notifications, all the like. It's too easy to like. I don't like it's too easy to just not jive with somebody else, but like you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just do your, like, go with your own flow.
Yeah, well, that was always the thing, too. It's
don't yuck someone else's yum.
There we go. That's a good one. Yeah, because
I learned that at Bonnaroo from a girl from Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah. Don't try to yuck my yum, bro.
Yeah, don't yuck someone else's yum. She said it to somebody that was yelling at somebody for wearing like a pair of Tevas, because this was in like 2003, I believe.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, that's dumb. And then every time I say it, I was like, that's dumb. But it's got a lot. It holds a lot. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. But like, what's the point? You're not bettering anything.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing too. It's this versus thing. Wokeism versus the patriarchy. It's like, are we just looking at problems or are we looking at solutions?
No.
Are we thinking about how we can make things better together? Or are we looking to pit sides and fucking see who's fucking...
Who can stand out?
Yeah, who can stand out?
Is it possibly a measuring contest?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
It's silly in that sort of way, yeah. Like that, it's always about the connection. Like we always, well, again, get the hippies into it, fucking the psychedelics,
but they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. They're smiling too much.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking freeloaders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there absolutely is, and it doesn't matter. Like there's going to be people. It doesn't matter what system you make. If you have some sort of social assistance, universal basic income, COVID relief, fucking welfare.
That scares me though.
Well, like it's all the same. Some people don't want to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
They're not happy people because they can take the easy ride, but they have no struggle, so they're not happy, they're not successful, they have nothing to drive for. So human existence is kind of defined by suffering.
Yeah.
To a degree.
But then are there people that are just content with having just the right amount of suffering, but they get the right amount of coverage for their suffering, so they just float?
Oh yeah, there's people that just exist.
Yeah.
Absolutely there is.
Well, then there's the people that get like my 600-pound life, the show on TLC. Okay, you had a shitty hand dealt to you, maybe you did this to yourself. You shouldn't get a fucking TV show to glorify what is really a negative situation. That bothers me a lot. That's a bedtime timer.
Oh, it's my mommy.
Oh.
Actually, I might be here. I was supposed to go pick her up after this.
Oh fuck. And on that note,
shit. That's right. She's still here. Okay, call her back real quick.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah. Should we wrap up? I'd do part 2 with you later on in life.
Well, that's kind of the other thing. It's really easy to do another one.
Yeah.
Fuck, I totally forgot.
Fuck, sorry, dude.
No, it's not your fault. It's all on me.
That's your actual mom?
Yeah,
You only get one.
Well,
you should probably
the other part.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Ooh.
What time is it?
11.
Moms aren't supposed to be up till 11.
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Hey, no, I'm actually just still doing this podcast. I totally forgot what time it was. It's already after 11. Holy smokes, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering, maybe you went out for wing night or something like that.
Oh, please.
Space all morning and then get get pulled from pick me up. But if you're planning on coming, then okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, probably.
Have been for a while now.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up here and I'll be over there in half hour, 45 at the latest. If that's okay with you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Hey, sorry, Mom.
That's okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's another thing that we should touch on the next one. As we grow up and grow older, our parents are like growing older and like essentially, I hate to fucking say it, but like they're, right? Like, so like it's hard for me living out here in Calgary, 3,500 kilometers away from my mom and my dad, even though they're not together anymore, which I've lived my whole life with them not being there, so that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I like it that way, but like I'm having a hard time. The older I get, and since I had the $10 million wake up, I want to spend more time with them because it's limited, and then it's starting to make me think about my own mortality. right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy that just dies the next day and everybody sees my fucking internet history. You know?
Yeah, well, the other part of it is too is that at minimum 90% of the time you'll ever spend with your parents is behind you.
Oh yeah, yeah.